I got dumped before my honeymoon for being broke, then woke up in Hawaii beside Celeste Whitmore, the woman who owned the company my bully loved bragging about. That sentence sounds fake. Trust me, I wish it was. When I opened my eyes, my skull felt packed with beach sand. My mouth tasted like cheap hotel champagne, and a woman I had never seen before was asleep on the other side of my honeymoon bed. Chloe should have been there. The girlfriend I saved 2 years to bring to Hawaii. Instead, I had a stranger in a black dress, one expensive heel hanging from her foot, dark hair spilled across the pillow, makeup smudged under her eyes like she had cried until her body gave up. For 3 seconds, I just stared. Then my brain woke up and started screaming. I shot upright, rose petals covered the bed, towel swans leaned against each other near the pillows. The curtains were half open, and outside, the ocean looked disgustingly romantic, because apparently nature had joined the bullying. I checked myself. Shirt on, pants on, belt still where it belonged. Good. At least I had not added possible criminal investigation to my pile of problems. The woman shifted. I froze. Her eyes opened. For 1 second, we stared at each other like two strangers waking up in the wrong nightmare. Then she grabbed the champagne bottle from the nightstand and pointed it at my face. "Who the hell are you?" she snapped. Her voice was cold, sharp, and rich. Yes, rich had a sound. It sounded like someone who had never checked a menu price in her life. I raised both hands. Me? I'm the idiot who paid for this room. She looked around. Rose petals? Champagne? Honeymoon breakfast card. Me. Her anger turned into disgust. This is your room? No, I said. I just enjoy waking up in random honeymoon suites because my hobbies are depression and lawsuits. She tried to stand, stumbled, and caught the edge of the nightstand. Hungover too. Great. Misery had brought a friend. Her purse slipped from the chair beside the bed. A slim black card holder fell open, and one card slid across the carpet near my foot. Celeste Whitmore, founder and CEO. Whitmore Global. My heart dropped hard enough to reach the lobby before I did. Whitmore Global. Mason's company. The company my old bully flashed like a medal yesterday while standing beside my girlfriend. I looked from the card to the woman holding the champagne bottle. "You're Celeste Whitmore." She snatched the card up. "And you're very good at reading." "No. I mean, you're that Celeste Whitmore." Her eyes narrowed. "I really hope there is not another one." The bottle stayed raised. Comforting. Nothing says innocent misunderstanding like a billionaire CEO gripping glass like a murder weapon. I pointed at the room key on the table. "My name is Ethan Carter. This is Honeymoon Wing 1208. If anyone broke into anything, that would be you." She stared at the key. Then at the door. Her expression changed. The anger stayed, but fear slid underneath it. She whispered, "No. That feels like a bad no." Celeste pressed one hand to her forehead. "My villa is 1208 in the Royal Wing." I looked at my room key again. "Honeymoon Wing, room 1208. Same number. Different wing. Same resort built like a rich person's maze." I almost respected the stupidity. It had layers. Celeste lowered the bottle a little. "I thought this was my room. You thought my honeymoon suite was your room?" I was drunk. "Congratulations. That makes 2 idiots and 1 expensive mattress." Her jaw tightened. I had a bad night. "Same. Mine came with coconut drinks." She gave me a look sharp enough to charge rent. Then she said, "I caught my boyfriend cheating." That shut me up, for about 2 seconds. Then my mouth, because it had never once saved me from danger, said, "So your solution was to walk into my room?" The door was open. I looked at the suitcase strap wedged near the bottom of the door. "Ah, the enemy. Discount luggage." Celeste followed my gaze and understood. The silence after that was ugly and stupid. 2 betrayed people. 2 amateur drunks, 1 door that failed at its only job. 12 hours earlier, I had been standing outside my apartment with 2 suitcases, 2 plane tickets, and 1 tiny velvet ring box burning a hole through my jacket pocket. I had planned everything. 5 nights in Hawaii. Ocean view honeymoon suite. Couples spa, sunset dinner, proposal on the beach. We were not married yet. I booked the honeymoon package because I was going to propose on the first night. I thought it would be romantic. The hotel thought it was a marketing upgrade. Life thought it was hilarious. Chloe arrived late, wearing sunglasses under a gray sky and holding her phone like a better life might text her any second. She had no luggage. My stomach dropped before she spoke. "Ethan," she said softly. I hated that tone. The gentle voice people use when they already stabbed you but still want credit for holding the knife politely. "You're a good person," she said. The funeral music for broke boyfriends. I looked at her empty hands. "Where's your suitcase?" "I'm not going. I waited for an emergency, a family problem, some excuse I could believe if I tried hard enough." She gave me none. "I can't do this anymore," she said. "Do what?" "Pretend love is enough." That line hit so cleanly I almost admired it. 2 years of saving, 3 years of dating, late meals skipped, weekend shifts. Every little plan I made because I thought effort counted. She packed all of it into one sentence and threw it in my face. Then Mason Reed stepped out of the black car behind her. My old bully? The guy who called me Discount Ethan in high school because my shoes were always secondhand. The guy who once shoved my backpack into a trash can and told me I belonged with it. Now he had a clean haircut, a silver watch, and the relaxed smile of a man who had never been punched hard enough. Chloe moved closer to him. Life did not just slap me, it brought backup. Mason looked at my suitcases and laughed through his nose. Damn, you really packed for the honeymoon. Chloe gave him a tiny look like, please don't be mean. But the look was for the volume, not for me. Mason slid his hand around her waist. I told her she deserved better, he said. No offense. People who say no offense always mean offense. They just want a discount on consequences. I looked at Chloe. How long? She blinked too fast. Ethan, don't make this ugly. That answered it. Mason smiled wider. Come on, man, don't act shocked. You saved 2 years for one vacation. My quarterly bonus could pay for this trip twice. Chloe touched his sleeve. Mason works at Whitmore Global now, she said like she was explaining gravity. He has a real future. He pulled out his employee badge just enough for me to see it. Corporate hospitality division, he said. You probably wouldn't understand. I looked at Chloe. So that's it? He has a better job, so I'm done? Don't twist it, I'm trying to understand. No, you're trying to make me feel guilty, I laughed, but nothing about it was funny. You cheated on me with my bully, and I'm the one making you uncomfortable? Her sweet face cracked. You always do this, Chloe said. You make everything about how much you sacrificed. Do you know how exhausting that is? I never asked you to starve yourself for a vacation. Cruel because it was half true. She never asked. I just loved her enough to be stupid on my own. Mason stepped closer. She needs a man who can actually give her a life, not a guy who treats one Hawaii trip like a retirement plan. Chloe looked at the ground. She did not stop him. That silence hurt more than Mason's mouth. All I managed was, were you going to tell me before or after I proposed? Chloe's eyes moved to my pocket. She knew. Mason caught it too. Oh crap, he said, laughing. There was a ring? I turned away before he could enjoy my face any longer. Behind me, Chloe said, Ethan, I'm sorry. She wasn't. She hated that the scene was messy. She hated that I looked too human while she was upgrading. The flight was non-refundable. So was the hotel. So was the honeymoon package. My dignity apparently had a no-refund policy too. So I went, alone. At the airport, the agent asked if my wife would join me later. I said, emotionally, no. She did not laugh. Fair. At the resort, the staff clapped for the honeymoon package. One guy handed me a coconut drink with 2 straws. Congratulations, Mr. Carter. Where is Mrs. Carter? I stared at the second straw. Running late. Technically true. She had been running late on loyalty for months. The suite was worse. Rose petals on the bed, towel swans kissing, a chilled bottle of champagne, a little chocolate sign on the pillow that said, "Forever begins here." I ate the sign first. It tasted expensive and judgmental. Then I walked down to the beach, sat near couples taking sunset photos, and drank straight from the bottle like a divorced uncle at a wedding. Sometime after midnight, Chloe's story popped up on my phone, her and Mason, in Hawaii, at the same resort chain. He had posted from a higher balcony with the caption, "Real men upgrade the view." Later I realized Mason had not picked Hawaii by chance. Chloe had sent him my itinerary while she was still pretending to love me, and he copied the trip just to upgrade every part of it. I stared until the screen blurred. Then I laughed, because if I did not, I was going to throw my phone into the ocean, and I still had payments left on it. After midnight, I stumbled back to my room. My keycard took 3 tries. When I dragged my suitcase inside, the strap caught near the door. I remember kicking it once. I remember saying, screw it. Then I collapsed on the bed without checking if the door had fully latched. My contribution to disaster. Back in the morning, Celeste stood in my room with that card in her hand, my dead future around us, and a champagne bottle still close enough to ruin my dental plan. Her phone started buzzing. One name flashed over and over. Natalie. Celeste cursed under her breath. Tired, controlled, like her life was already sharpening knives around her. She straightened. No one can know I was here. Great news, I said. I don't want anyone knowing either. My reputation is already in a coffin. It doesn't need flowers. I am serious. So am I. Do you think woke up with a billionaire by accident sounds believable from a broke man on a solo honeymoon? She looked at me like I was a problem she could buy, return, or have removed by security. Then she checked the peephole. The hallway looked empty. She opened the door and stopped. 3 women turned the corner at the exact wrong second. The one in the middle wore a pale blue dress, pearl earrings, and a smile that looked sweet until it reached her eyes and died there. Celeste went still. The woman's gaze moved from Celeste's wrinkled dress to her bare feet, then past her to me sitting on the honeymoon bed, surrounded by rose petals and bad decisions. Her smile widened. Celeste? Celeste's hand tightened on the door. At that moment, I only knew 2 things. The woman recognized Celeste, and Celeste looked like a match had dropped into gasoline. The woman lifted her phone. Celeste said, "Bianca, don't." So the woman had a name. From Celeste's face, that name meant trouble. Bianca's thumb tapped the screen. Click. That tiny camera sound was the moment my ruined honeymoon became everyone else's entertainment. The camera click was tiny. Celeste's face went pale anyway. Bianca Ashford lowered her phone like she had captured a cute breakfast photo, not aimed a knife at someone's throat. I stood behind Celeste in my wrinkled shirt, half hung over, with rose petals scattered across the bed like the world's saddest romantic crime scene. Bianca's 2 friends leaned around her shoulders. One covered her mouth. The other smiled. That second smile taught me plenty about rich people before coffee. Celeste stepped into the hallway and pulled the door halfway shut behind her. "Delete it," she said. Her voice was calm enough to make a normal person check for emergency exits. Bianca blinked slowly. "Delete what?" "The photo." "Oh, that!" Bianca glanced at her screen. "It was just a picture. You looked so surprised. I thought it was funny." Rich girls had a relaxed definition of funny. My life had been funny for 12 hours, and somehow nobody laughed at the correct parts. Celeste took 1 step closer. "Bianca." No threat, no yelling, just the name, delivered like a warning label. Bianca glanced past Celeste at me. The bed, the rose petals still stuck to the sheets. "Don't worry, Celeste, I'm not judging." Which meant she absolutely was. Then she raised the phone again, not for another picture, just enough to show she still had it. "Honestly, I'm more impressed than anything. I didn't know you had a type." Celeste's jaw moved once. I could tell she wanted to tear the phone out of Bianca's hand and throw it into the ocean. For once, I supported violence as a business strategy. Then I noticed Bianca's friend recording from waist level, phone half hidden near her purse. Celeste saw it too. She stepped back. Smart. If she touched Bianca, the story would become Billionaire CEO attacks innocent woman after hotel room scandal. Even I understood that, and I once thought hot sauce on instant noodles counted as cooking. Bianca slipped her phone into her tiny purse. "Have a good morning." Then she walked away with her 2 friends, slow and relaxed, like she had all the time in the world to ruin someone. Celeste stayed in the hallway until they disappeared. Then she stepped back into my room and shut the door hard. For the next few minutes, she paced while I tried to remember how breathing worked. That was all Bianca needed. By the time Celeste's phone started buzzing again, the photo had already grown legs. She answered on the 4th call. The woman on the other end spoke so sharply I could hear her from the bed. "Where the hell are you?" Celeste closed her eyes. "Natalie." "No, don't Natalie me. You missed 3 calls with New York, 2 messages from the board office, and I just received a photo of you coming out of a honeymoon suite in yesterday's dress." The room shrank. Celeste asked, "How many people have seen it?" Natalie gave a short laugh. Not happy, more like she was deciding who to bury first. Bianca sent it to the Ashford Circle. From there, it hit 2 private family office chats, the investor wife chat, and a gossip account that pretends it only covers charity galas. I raised my hand even though nobody had invited me into the conversation. "What is an investor wife chat?" Celeste looked at me like I had spoken during surgery. Natalie heard me. A silence fell through the phone. Then Natalie asked, "Who is that?" Celeste covered the speaker. "Do not speak. I was just curious. Be curious silently." She uncovered the phone. "He is no one," Celeste said. That should not have bothered me. A billionaire CEO calling me no one should have rolled right off. I was a broke guy in a honeymoon suite with a dead relationship. Still, the word landed wrong. Chloe had basically said the same thing yesterday. Mason said it with a nicer watch. Natalie spoke again. "If he is no one, this is worse." Celeste's eyes flicked to me. "Explain." "If he is a stranger, people ask why you were drunk in a stranger's room. Staff creates abuse of power rumors. Random tourist creates reckless CEO rumors. Paid companion kills us before noon." I blinked. "Paid companion?" Celeste gave me a warning look. I shut up. "Barely." Natalie continued. "Right now the story is soft. 1 photo, no article, no public confirmation, but Bianca framed it perfectly." Celeste walked toward the window. Outside, the ocean looked bright, clean, and rude about it. "What are they saying?" Natalie hesitated. Celeste's voice dropped. "Read it." Natalie sighed. "Secret lover. Cancelled calls because of a man. Someone asked if there were others in the room. Bianca is letting them add details. Others, I said. Nobody answered. Celeste's fingers curled at her side. The champagne bottle was out of her hand now, which was probably good for everyone. So they're just making things up? I asked. Celeste looked at me. Welcome to people with money and free time. Fair. Poor people gossip too, but at least we usually had to work afterward. For a moment, Celeste lowered the phone and stared at the floor. I saw the fear under the anger. The photo made her look out of control. A CEO who vanished, drank too much, and walked out of a honeymoon suite with some random man. That random man was me. Fantastic. I had spent years being invisible. Now, the one time people noticed me, I was a human stain on a billionaire's reputation. Natalie asked, "Is he still there?" I pointed at the phone. No, he wants to shower, eat something greasy, and return to being emotionally destroyed in private. Celeste covered the speaker. You are not leaving. You can't just tell me I'm not leaving. This is my room. You are in the photo. If you walk out alone looking like that, Bianca gets a second one. I looked down at my shirt. Wrinkled. Half-buttoned wrong. One sleeve smelled like champagne and regret. Annoying. Correct. Natalie said, if anyone asks who the man is, do not say stranger. Celeste's eyes moved to me. I did not like that. Do not look at me while she says that. Natalie kept going. Stranger makes you reckless. Wrong room makes you drunk and careless. Silence makes you guilty. We need something controlled. Celeste's face changed. I saw her mind move. Fast, cold, dangerous. I took a step back. No. She looked at me. I have not said anything. You don't need to. Your face is doing math. Celeste ended the call without saying goodbye. Rich people did that a lot. Then she walked to the mirror and fixed herself with disturbing speed. Smudged makeup gone, missing heel found under the bed, hair twisted into something intentional. The CEO rebuilt herself in under a minute. If I tried that, I looked like I had lost a custody battle with a ceiling fan. Get dressed properly, she said. I am dressed. You look like you lost a fight with a laundry basket. I kind of did. We are leaving this room. Together? Separately looks worse now. Together looks like the rumor grew legs. It already has legs. Bianca gave it heels. I hated that line because it was good. Celeste threw the resort robe at me. Put that on until your shirt behaves. This is my room. Why am I the one being styled? Because your shirt is damaging national confidence. I looked down. One button was in the wrong hole. Fine. Maybe my shirt was committing crimes. We stepped into the hall and made it to the elevator. Two older women in resort linen were inside, both holding phones. They saw Celeste. Then me. One lowered her sunglasses even though we were indoors. The elevator ride lasted 20 seconds and felt like being buried alive in expensive perfume. When the doors opened at the lobby, the resort had changed. Yesterday, staff clapped for my fake honeymoon. Now they glanced at Celeste, then at me, then quickly away. Phones were out near the lounge. A group by the flower display pretended not to watch while absolutely watching. Celeste kept walking. Then Bianca's voice floated across the lobby. Celeste! Every head turned. Rich people loved pretending they hated drama, but they moved toward it like pigeons toward bread. Bianca stood near the marble staircase with her two friends and a coffee cup she probably had not paid for herself. Pale blue dress. Pearl earrings, smile freshly sharpened. Her gaze drifted to my robe. Oh, she said lightly. Still together? A few people whispered. Someone lifted a phone. Celeste's voice stayed even. Move, Bianca. Bianca touched her chest. So cold. I was just worried. You rushed out yesterday, canceled everything, then this morning. She let the sentence hang. That was the trick. She did not need to say the dirty part. The lobby was happy to imagine it for her. My face heated. Bianca looked at me properly for the first time. And you are? I opened my mouth. Bad idea. Celeste answered first. He is with me. The lobby grew quieter. Bianca's smile twitched. With you how? Celeste took half a second too long. Bianca turned slightly so the room could hear. I only ask because people are confused. One photo becomes such an ugly story. Fake concern, perfect voice, poison in silk. Celeste stepped forward. Then, stop feeding it. I did not feed anything, I only took a picture. Other people are talking. Her friend nodded too fast. Classic coward math. Like the match, blame the fire. The whole lobby wanted one answer. Not my name, my role. Who was I to Celeste Whitmore? Celeste took my wrist. Strategic, but warm. The lobby noticed. So did Bianca. Oh, Bianca said. So he is important? He is not your business. Bianca laughed softly. Darling, once you leave a honeymoon suite with a man in front of half the resort, business becomes a flexible word. A man near the lounge lifted his phone higher. Another woman whispered, Is that the mystery man? Yesterday I wanted to disappear. Today I wanted to shove every phone into the decorative fountain. But I had no money, no power, and no idea what the hell was happening. All I had was a billionaire gripping my wrist like she was deciding whether to use me as a shield or a grenade. Natalie's warning echoed in my head. Do not say stranger. Bianca stepped closer. Come on, Celeste, everyone is asking. Who is he? The lobby held its breath. Celeste's hand slid from my wrist to my fingers. My brain stopped. She looked at me, not like a woman in love, but like a woman choosing the least terrible weapon in the room. Then she faced Bianca, the phones, the whispers, the staff pretending not to stare, and every rich guest waiting for blood. Someone near the staircase asked, Miss Whitmore, who was the man in your room? Celeste's fingers locked around mine. And I realized too late that my ruined honeymoon was about to become her official story. He is my fiancé, Celeste said. For one beautiful second, my brain refused to process the sentence. Then it processed it, panicked, and tried to leave my body through my ears. Yesterday, Chloe dumped me because I was too broke to be husband material. Today, Celeste Whitmore promoted me to fiancé in a lobby full of rich witnesses without asking if my knees still worked. The lobby went silent. Bianca's smile froze first, satisfying for about half a second. Then every phone tilted toward us. Staff stopped pretending to polish the same vase. Guests stopped pretending to read menus. One old man lowered his coffee cup so slowly I saw steam pass between his face and mine. Everyone was looking at me. The mystery man. The broke guy in a resort robe. The accidental stain on a billionaire's reputation. Apparently also her fiancé. Great! My fake honeymoon had finally found a bride. Bianca recovered fast. People like her did not panic when a lie changed shape. They smiled harder and looked for the weak seam. Your fiancé? She asked. Celeste did not blink. Yes. My hand was still in hers. From outside she probably looked calm enough to sign a merger during a hurricane. But her fingers were tight around mine. Emergency brake tight. Celeste Whitmore was not calm. She was just very good at making fear wear heels. Bianca tilted her head. How strange. I know nearly everyone you see, Celeste. I have never heard of a fiancé. A few guests whispered. Secret fiancé, who is he? My throat went dry. I almost said, I am? Common sense tackled my mouth before embarrassment could escape. Bianca took one slow step closer. Since when? Celeste answered. That is private. Bianca laughed softly. Private enough that no one in your circle knows him? My private life is not a newsletter, Celeste said, a few phones lowered by an inch. Small, but I took it. Bianca turned to me. And you are comfortable with being hidden? She aimed the question like a silver knife. If I looked pathetic, Celeste looked like she invented me in a panic. If I acted angry, I looked like a paid secret getting tired of the job. Too confident looked fake. So I squeezed Celeste's hand once, just enough to warn her I was about to speak. Her eyes cut toward me. Please do not make this worse. Relatable. I looked at Bianca. After this morning, I understand why she kept me private. The lobby changed by a degree. One staff member stopped staring at me like a stain and started staring at Bianca. Celeste's grip loosened by one finger. First useful thing I had done all morning. Bianca smiled wider. How loyal, and yet you are standing in a hotel lobby wearing a robe. A few guests laughed under their breath. The robe suddenly felt heavier. Celeste was about to answer for me. I probably should have let her. My mouth had been humiliated enough. I looked down at the robe, then back at Bianca. Yeah. Rough morning. I hear someone started taking pictures before people could get dressed properly. The laugh near the lounge died. Bianca's friend with the hidden phone became very interested in the floor. Another small payoff. I like those. They fit in my pocket. Bianca's eyes changed. Careful. People may misunderstand that tone. People misunderstood a doorway. Tone might be too advanced for this room. Celeste's thumb pressed into my hand. Painful warning. I shut up. Bianca turned back to Celeste. You always were dramatic about privacy. But hiding a fiancé? That is not privacy. That is strategy. The difference depends on who is trying to invade it, Celeste said. And yet here we are. Yes, because you took a photo through a doorway and tried to turn it into a scandal. The words landed cleanly. Bianca's friend shifted backward. Staff near the desk exchanged a look. The crowd had not flipped, but it stopped swallowing Bianca's version whole. Bianca noticed. Her voice softened. Celeste, I did not turn anything into anything. I was worried. You disappeared yesterday. You missed calls. People care about you. People care about you. Pretty sentence. Garbage filling. Bianca did not care about Celeste. She cared about holding the knife first and calling it concern. Celeste's fingers tightened around mine again. This time I knew what it meant. Bianca had hit the real wound. The missed calls. The board. Langford. The leadership issue Natalie warned about. I leaned close enough for only Celeste to hear. You're crushing my fingers. Stop shaking, she whispered. I'm not shaking. Then, one of us is. That shut me up. For 1 second the whole lobby blurred around us. Not romance, do not get excited. I was still a broke man in a borrowed robe, and she was still a billionaire who had just publicly lied me into her life. But under all that ice, Celeste was scared enough to squeeze my hand too hard and pretend the shaking belonged to me. Unfairly human of her. Inconveniently cute. Before Bianca could press again, Natalie came through the lobby doors like a crisis wearing black heels. She held a tablet in one hand and a phone in the other. Behind her, the resort manager hurried with 2 security staff. Natalie stopped beside us and took in the scene with one sharp glance. Bianca! Phones! Me! The robe! Celeste holding my hand. Her eyes paused there. You said fiancé? Natalie asked. Celeste's expression did not move. Yes. For one beat, I thought the assistant might quit in public. Instead, Natalie smiled at the room. Professional damage control with teeth. Congratulations are not a spectator sport, she said. She turned to the manager. Please ask guests to lower their phones and remind them the original photo was taken in a restricted wing. Bianca's smile thinned. This is a public lobby. And I am asking them to stop filming now, Natalie said. The hallway where the photo was taken was not public. Security moved. Some guests obeyed. Some pretended they had not been filming. One woman opened her weather app like she had been passionately recording humidity. Bianca looked from Natalie to Celeste, then to me. Well, she said, I suppose the world will meet him soon enough. That made my stomach tighten. She did not know my name yet. That was the problem. Online, I was still a blurry angle, a robe, and a question. Bianca had decided mystery was temporary. Natalie stepped between us. Enjoy breakfast, Miss Ashford? Bianca looked at me. Congratulations, mystery fiancé. Soft words. Public slap. Then she walked away with her 2 friends looking entertained, which was worse than relaxed. Natalie waited until Bianca reached the far side of the lobby. Then she turned through her teeth. Private room, now. We crossed the lobby under 100 small stairs. The resort manager guided us through a side door into a polished office lounge behind the front desk. White orchids, long table, wall screen, untouched bottled water. Natalie locked the door. The click sounded final. Then she turned to Celeste. You announced an engagement. You told me not to say stranger, Celeste said. I told you not to say stranger. I did not tell you to detonate a wedding bomb in the lobby. I raised a hand. As the bomb, I also would have appreciated a countdown. Natalie looked at me. You are very chatty for a man whose face is about to be hunted by half of Hawaii's richest bored people. That shut me up for almost 3 seconds. Progress. Natalie tapped her tablet. Bianca's photo appeared, along with new comments. Secret fiancé? Mystery fiancé? Since when was she engaged? Who is the man? My face was still unclear. Celeste's shoulder blocked half of me. The doorway shadow blurred the rest. I should have felt relieved. A faceless rumor still had room for strangers to invent uglier parts. Natalie folded her arms. Congratulations! The scandal evolved. Is evolved good? I asked. No, Celeste said. Better than dead before noon. Marginally, Natalie said. I leaned back. So I am no longer random hookup. I am secret fiancé. Celeste turned from the window. Correct. Does the secret fiancé get a vote? No, Celeste said. Yes, Natalie said. Celeste looked at her. Natalie did not blink. He has legs, a mouth, and no signed agreement. If he walks into the lobby and says you lied, we are finished. I like her when she remembers I'm a person, I said. Celeste's eyes moved to me. I am aware you are a person. Great, because 5 minutes ago I was upgraded from no one to fiancé without warning. Lot of promotion for a man wearing hotel slippers. Natalie looked down. You are wearing hotel slippers. Emotionally, they are doing their best. Celeste's mouth twitched. Tiny. Almost invisible. But I caught it. Natalie tapped the tablet again. Bianca now has a new question to feed everyone. If he is your fiancé, why has no one heard of him? If no one has heard of him, did you invent him? If you invented him, the original rumor becomes worse. Celeste crossed her arms. So we need consistency. We need behavior, Natalie said. If people see you act like strangers, the lie collapses. If you overact, it collapses faster. If Celeste appears alone tonight, Bianca wins. Tonight? I asked. There was always another knife. Natalie swiped the tablet. Private hospitality dinner. Ocean Terrace. 7:30. I recognized one name. Langford, the man waiting for Celeste to make one public mistake. Why is the bored guy at a resort dinner? I asked. Natalie looked briefly impressed, like she had expected me to lick the tablet, and I surprised her by reading. He is not a board member, he is an investor with board influence. He was already here for a hospitality summit. Bianca knows that. Okay, too many rich words, but I got the important part. He matters, and Bianca wants him watching. Exactly. I turned to Celeste. You cannot seriously expect me to go to a private rich dinner as your fake fiancé. I do. No. The word came out sharper than expected. Good. Apparently I had located a spine under the robe. I did not ask for Bianca, I said. I did not ask for your board problem. I did not ask to be called your fiancé in front of people who tip with stock options. My life was already on fire before you walked into it. Celeste's face hardened. I am trying to stop both of us from burning. With a fake engagement? With a controlled story. You keep saying controlled like the story did not just bite both of us in public. That made her pause. Then she said, You are right. I forgot to be angry. I am? Yes. Can you say that again? Slower? I may need it emotionally framed. Do not push your luck. My luck pushed me into this room. Natalie rubbed her forehead. We do not have time for whatever this is. Celeste stepped closer to the table. I cannot force you to help me. First legally comforting sentence all morning. But if you walk away, Bianca will find you. Natalie picked up the thread. Your booking, full name, socials, flight, ex-girlfriend, employer, family. Not because she cares who you are, because making you ugly makes Ms. Whitmore look uglier. I stared at the blurry photo. The mystery man, a face waiting to be found. I hated that Natalie was right. Mostly, I hated that my best option was pretending to be engaged to a woman who had threatened me with a champagne bottle less than an hour ago. Romance had gotten weird lately. What exactly do you want from me? I asked. Celeste did not answer with CEO speed this time. One dinner. Tonight, stand beside me, answer simple questions, do not volunteer details, do not joke unless it helps. That last part feels unfairly specific. Recent evidence, Natalie added. We will give you a clean story. You met privately months ago, you kept it quiet because of work and privacy. You came to Hawaii separately, the wrong room incident gave Bianca the worst possible angle. My hand closed around the chair. No, both went and looked at me. Do not turn that room into a cute engagement detail, I said. That was real. Stupid, embarrassing, but real. I bought that ring for Chloe. I booked that room because I thought I was proposing to someone who loved me. I do not want rich people damage control turning it into a prop. The room stilled, no joke in my voice. I did not have one ready. Celeste looked at me for a long moment. I will not use that part without your permission. Simple, quiet, almost gentle. I did not know what to do with gentle from her, so naturally I looked away like an idiot. Good. Natalie cleared her throat. We adjust. Private relationship, no proposal details unless forced. Celeste sat across from me, not at the head of the table. That tiny choice changed the room more than it should have. I can offer compensation for your time, your risk, and any damage this causes, she said. My shoulders tightened. Money! The thing Chloe said I lacked, the thing Mason waved around like a better personality. I'm broke, I said. I'm not rented. Celeste went quiet. Then she said, That came out wrong. I stared at her. If she said sorry next, I was going to check the ceiling for hidden cameras. I meant protection, she continued. Expenses, privacy support, legal help if Bianca targets you. Oh, less insulting. Still uncomfortable. Natalie said, You should have representation if this goes beyond tonight. A lawyer? Yes. I can barely represent myself in a hotel breakfast line. Then we will get you one, Celeste said. See, that sounds like buying me again. It is not. Your face says it usually is. Her mouth tightened. Then, very quietly, she said, My face has had a difficult morning. Natalie looked down at the tablet very hard. A private side. Dry. Tired. Almost cute. Celeste immediately looked annoyed that she had said it. Dangerous discovery. Natalie saved her from being human too long. We need rules. I have rules, I said. That surprised both of them. Good. I was tired of being the object in the room. First, you do not use my breakup as a cute backstory. Celeste nodded. Agreed. Second, no one says I was paid to be here. Obviously, Natalie said. Your first explanation included paid companion before I had breakfast. Fair. Third, if someone asks something I cannot answer, I can say we keep that private. Good, Celeste said. Fourth, you do not talk to me like furniture in public. That made Celeste pause. Good, it should. She nodded. Agreed. Then Celeste lifted her chin. My rules, you do not contradict me in public unless I am about to hurt both of us. You do not improvise personal details, and you do not call Bianca Barbie again where she can hear you. That one feels personal. She will enjoy it too much. Annoying. Correct, Celeste continued. Stay near me tonight. Beside me. Beside me. The word sat weirdly in my chest. Chloe had moved me behind her new future. Mason had shoved me under it. Now Celeste Whitmore ordered me beside her like logistics. It should not have meant anything. It did anyway. Natalie's phone buzzed. Bianca just reposted. No new photo, just text over a pale blue background. Some engagements are so private, even the groom looks surprised. Comments moved fast. Mystery fiancé? Cover story? Someone ask him his last name. Celeste stood. Natalie spoke first. Do not respond online. I was not going to respond online. You looked like you were about to buy the platform. Celeste paused. I stared at her. Oh my God, you considered it. For half a second, she said. That is not normal. I am aware. Another tiny crack in the ice. Funny. Irritated. Human. Natalie's phone buzzed again. This time she did not read it immediately. Never good. Langford's office saw Bianca's repost, she said. Celeste's face went still. The dinner changed. How? Natalie turned the phone around. Langford requests Miss Whitmore attend tonight's Ocean Terrace dinner with her fiancé. No substitutions. Below that, Bianca Ashford has confirmed attendance. The Trap had a reservation. Tonight. Langford wanted to see the fiancé. Bianca wanted to test him. And the fiancé was me, a broke man in hotel slippers who had learned about investor-wife chats less than an hour ago. Natalie looked at me. If you want out, this is the last clean moment. That was a lie. Nothing clean remained. But I understood. If I walked away, I might stay blurry. Mystery Man could vanish. Celeste would take the hit. Bianca would laugh. Langford would move. I would pack the ring I never used and fly home pretending the billionaire disaster was only a hangover with better lighting. Smart choice. Probably. Then I remembered Bianca's voice in the lobby. Still together? Chloe's voice yesterday. Pretend love is enough. Mason laughing when he saw the ring. I was tired of being the man people explained away. The poor boyfriend. The random tourist. The no one. Maybe I was still a loser. Fine. Even a loser could decide when to stop crawling. I took a breath. One dinner! Celeste's shoulders lowered by the smallest amount. Most people would have missed it. I did not. One dinner, she said. Natalie nodded, already typing. Good. We need clothes, a cover story, and enough discipline to survive rich people with wine. I looked down at my robe and slippers. Clothes first. I refused to meet a man named Langford dressed like a spa hostage. For the first time, Celeste smiled. Small, brief, real. Then the CEO returned. Get him a suit, Celeste told Natalie. Natalie looked me over. Tailored? Celeste's eyes moved from my wrinkled shirt to the slippers. Emergency miracle. That sounded insulting. It was accurate. Accuracy can still be rude. Survive tonight and file a complaint. 2 staff members were already outside with garment bags. Natalie had been arranging clothes while the rest of us argued because rich people could outsource panic to 3 departments at once. One black suit hung in front. Clean. Sharp. Terrifying. A suit for a man who knew which fork to use and did not panic when water cost $12. So, not me. Celeste stepped beside me. She did not take my hand. She only leaned close enough that her voice dropped beneath Natalie's typing. Do not let Bianca see you scared. I am scared. I know. Then what do I do? Celeste looked toward the lobby, where phones, rumors, Bianca, and Langford's dinner were already waiting. Then she glanced back at me. Stand beside me anyway. My throat tightened. Not romantic, not yet. Worse, trust pretending to be strategy. Natalie shoved the garment bag into my arms. 30 minutes. To become a fiancé? To become believable. Beyond the open door I could hear the lobby. Phones buzzing, guests whispering, Bianca's laugh far too close. Outside the glass, the Ocean Terrace waited for dinner. One dinner. One fake fiancé. One room full of rich people waiting to see if I was real. My honeymoon had officially become a job interview for a lie. And somehow, the only instruction I understood was the one Celeste whispered. Stand beside me anyway. By 7 that evening, the suit made me look like I belonged beside Celeste Whitmore. My insides strongly disagreed. The first 30 minutes got me into the black suit. The next few hours were Natalie teaching me how to stand, sit, drink water, answer questions, and exist near rich people without causing a shareholder event. Apparently, I had been standing wrong my whole life. I stared at myself in the mirror of the private manager's suite. The jacket sat clean against my shoulders. The shirt was crisp. The shoes were polished enough for me to see the nervous man trapped inside them. Me. Still Ethan Carter. Still broke. Still the guy who ate a chocolate honeymoon sign for dinner because grief and sugar had similar shapes. Only now my disaster had expensive fabric. Natalie stood behind me with her tablet tucked under one arm. Button the jacket. I buttoned it. She stared. Wrong button. I unbuttoned it. She closed her eyes like I had wounded her career. Good news, I said. We found out why I was not born rich. You were not born rich because God occasionally shows restraint. Comforting. She fixed the jacket herself. Tonight is not a date, it is a test. I thought it was dinner. Rich people do not eat at dinners like this. They evaluate, threaten, flatter, and pretend the salad is a personality. That sounded fake. Then I remembered every rich person I had met since sunrise and decided Natalie might be underselling it. Celeste stood near the window in a white evening suit, hair pinned back, makeup clean, CEO mask fully repaired. If I had not seen her barefoot and furious in my honeymoon suite, I would have believed the image. But I had seen the crack. Annoying thing about seeing someone as human, they stop being just a problem with expensive earrings. Celeste turned. Her eyes landed on me. She paused. Half a second. My brain noticed and became useless. What? Nothing, she said. You paused. I was checking the fit. With your face? Natalie made a small sound like her soul wanted a transfer. Celeste walked closer and adjusted my cufflink. I froze. Progress, honestly. This morning I froze because she had a champagne bottle. Now I froze because her fingers brushed my wrist. My body had decided betrayal, scandal, and fake engagement were manageable, but a beautiful woman fixing my sleeve was a national emergency. You clean up better than expected, she said. From Celeste, that sounded like a performance review for a rescued chair. Still, my ears warmed. Thank you, I also showered. Big day for everyone. Her mouth twitched. Natalie looked at the ceiling for help. Celeste stepped back. The suit works. You stay beside me tonight. If you drift behind me, people will notice. If you wander ahead, I will assume you lost your mind. You make romance sound like traffic control. This is not romance. Right. Hostage employment. Natalie tapped her tablet. Discipline, Mr. Carter. I knew I forgot something. Celeste's eyes sharpened. Ethan. Just my name. No title. No insult. Somehow, that worked better than yelling. Natalie lifted the tablet. Simple answers. If Bianca asks how you met, private. If Langford asks how long this has been serious, long enough to matter. If anyone asks why no one knew, Celeste protects what matters. That sounds like a perfume ad. It is still better than whatever you were going to say. Fair. Celeste picked up a black clutch. One more thing. Bianca will try to make you feel cheap. That hit clean. No corporate polish, just the truth. I looked away. She will not have to work hard. Celeste's expression shifted. Do not help her. I looked back. You are not here because you are cheap, she said. You are here because I made a public decision and you chose not to destroy me for it. Generous way to say I panicked and agreed to dinner. Both can be true. I hated that, not because it was wrong, because it was nice, the kind of nice that walked straight into a bruise without asking permission. Natalie opened the door. Time! We walked toward the ocean terrace with Natalie half a step ahead, Celeste beside me, and 2 security staff behind us. For once, I was not trailing after Celeste like luggage. I was beside her. That should not have mattered. It did. The terrace glowed under strings of lights, white tablecloths, tall glasses, silverware arranged like a puzzle designed to expose poor people. The ocean was black beyond the railing, making the whole place look romantic and hostile at the same time. At the long table, guests turned in stages. Rich people did not stare all at once, they noticed you like a committee. Bianca Ashford sat near the center in a pale blue dress. Across from her sat a man in his 50s with silver hair, a navy jacket, and a face trained to react only when money moved. Langford. I knew before Natalie whispered his name. Investor with board influence, I murmured. Natalie glanced at me. You remembered. I remember threats better than names. Celeste heard that. Her shoulder loosened by a fraction. Langford stood first. The rest followed because apparently money came with gravity. Celeste, he said, not Miss Whitmore, Celeste. That told me enough. His eyes moved to me. Congratulations, this has been a surprising morning. Celeste smiled politely. Surprises are easier to handle when people do not weaponize them. A few guests went still. Bianca lifted her glass, pretending not to enjoy it. Langford's smile stayed in place. Then I hope tonight gives everyone clarity. Clarity! Rich people loved clean words for trouble. Celeste slid her hand through my arm. Deliberate. Placed. The table noticed. My nervous system noticed harder. Langford looked at me. And you must be the man everyone has been asking about? I opened my mouth. Celeste's fingers pressed lightly against my sleeve. Reminder, not warning. I breathed once. Ethan, I said. Just Ethan tonight if that is all right. Langford's eyes sharpened. He had wanted a last name. Tiny Win. Bianca set her glass down. How modest! A secret fiancé with no last name. Celeste, you really do collect mysteries. I looked at her. Only one mystery today. Who takes photos through private doorways before breakfast? The table quieted. Several guests looked at Bianca instead of me. Her fingers touched the stem of her glass too fast. Langford gestured toward the table. Shall we sit before dinner becomes a courtroom? We sat near the end. 3 glasses waited in front of me, which felt aggressive. A waiter filled them. I reached for the one on my left. Celeste leaned closer. That is not yours. I froze with the glass halfway up. What? Yours is on the right. I put it down carefully. Bianca noticed. First formal dinner together? She asked sweetly. I looked at the glasses. With this many cups? Absolutely. A couple of guests laughed. Not at me. With me. Different feeling. Very dangerous. Langford watched over his wine. You are not used to this circle. I could have lied. I could have pretended I grew up around Ocean Terrace dinners and forks with assignments. That would have lasted 8 seconds before I buttered the wrong inheritance. No, I said, but I am learning quickly. Bianca leaned in. Learning for love? Her tone made love sound like a paid internship. Learning because when people stare at you, it helps to know which glass not to steal. More laughter. Bianca's smile thinned. Langford leaned back. At least he is honest, Celeste said. He usually is. Usually made me glance at her. She said it like she knew me, like this was not our first day pretending. The first course arrived. Tiny salad, a leaf, 2 berries, and what looked like a decorative apology. I stared. This is food? Celeste's knee bumped mine under the table. I mean, beautiful food. Do not fight the salad, she whispered. It started it. Her mouth twitched. Bianca watched that little exchange with narrowed eyes. She expected us stiff, polished, careful. Celeste and I had a different problem. We were exhausted, irritated, and trapped together. Apparently that looked like chemistry if the lighting was expensive enough. Langford asked, How did you and Celeste meet? Every eye moved to me. I reached for Natalie's prepared answer. Private. Months ago. Keep it short. Then Bianca smiled like she was waiting for me to recite a script, and annoyance made me stupid in a useful direction. We met unexpectedly, I said. She corrected me within the first minute. Langford's eyebrow rose. About what? Several things, mostly that she is not the kind of woman you understand by standing far away and reading headlines. The table quieted. Celeste looked down for half a second, then took a sip of water. Langford considered me. Interesting answer. Honestly, sir, it was the safest version, Bianca cut in. And where was your first trip together? My mouth opened before my brain arrived. Technically this one. Celeste's heel came down on my shoe. I corrected fast. Privately. This one privately. The diamond bracelet woman covered her mouth. Langford looked amused. Bianca smiled because she caught the wobble. Good. A mistake. Proof I was still me. Then she went for the seam. How long have you been engaged? Long enough, Celeste said. That is not a date. It was not meant to be. So no date. No announcement, no visible ring, no one in your circle aware. Forgive me, but it sounds less like privacy and more like a story assembled under pressure. A few guests stopped eating. Langford watched. Heat crawled up my neck. The ring. My real ring was upstairs, hidden in luggage, bought for a woman who chose Mason Reed in his bonus package. Celeste's hand moved closer under the table. She could have used that ring. She did not. That choice hit me harder than Bianca's question. Not every commitment is made for public consumption, Celeste said. How convenient, Bianca replied. I set my fork down. Too loud. Good. You keep saying convenient like taking a photo through a doorway was some noble public service. Bianca softened instantly. I understand you are defensive, Ethan. People are asking questions because Celeste matters. If this engagement is real, curiosity is natural. If it is not, she is asking everyone here to trust a lie. That landed because the engagement was a lie. Not Bianca's dirty version, but this, us. The performance. Langford spoke. If he is real, this is private. If he was invented this morning, this is panic. No fancy phrase, just the accusation. I looked at Langford, then Bianca, then Celeste's hand near mine. A smarter man would have stayed quiet. I was an improving idiot, different category. Can I ask something? Langford nodded. Does everyone here always talk about people like investment risks, or is that tonight's theme? Nobody laughed. Great start. I kept going. I get it. Celeste is important. You want to know if she panicked, if I am real, if Bianca caught something dirty or created something dirty. But if the concern is trust, maybe start with the person who took the photo, added a caption, watched strangers make it worse, and brought the rumor to dinner like a handbag. The silence changed. A woman near Langford lowered her wineglass. A man at the far end looked at Bianca's phone. Bianca touched her chest. I'm sorry, Ethan. I did not realize questions about honesty would feel like an attack. Perfect voice. Perfect face. Poison wrapped as apology. I smiled. I am new here. I thought emotions were still allowed before dessert. The diamond bracelet woman laughed and covered it too late. Bianca saw. Celeste saw. Langford saw. For a moment, I almost looked under the table to check if my soul had left, and someone competent took over. Celeste murmured, "Careful." Bad careful or good careful? Yes, fair. The second course arrived. Fish with a sauce that had probably gone to private school. Bianca waited until people relaxed. "So, Ethan, since you know Celeste so well, what is her favorite breakfast?" I froze. I did not know her favorite breakfast. I did not know her birthday, middle name, or whether billionaires had favorite colors or just approved palettes. Then I remembered the morning, the ignored calls, the untouched coffee. The way she acted like needing food was weakness. "I do not know her favorite breakfast," I said. Bianca's smile brightened. "But I know she does not eat when stressed. She lets coffee go cold and pretends she meant to. She also acts like blood sugar is beneath her, which is ridiculous because even terrifying CEOs need food." Celeste turned slowly toward me. "Oh no, maybe I had just accused a billionaire of being hungry in front of investors." The terrace held its breath. Then the diamond bracelet woman said, "That sounds like Celeste." A man near Langford nodded. Celeste stared at me another second, then calmly took one bite of fish. "He is annoying," she said. A few guests laughed. "He is also correct. That should not have felt like winning." It did. Bianca's hand tightened around her napkin. First real crack. Later, Bianca tried a different blade. "I have to admire you, Ethan. Some men would feel uncomfortable in this kind of room without background, position, or visible connection to Celeste's world. But you seem very brave." She paused. "Or very flexible." There was the public petting before the slap. "I only mean love is powerful. Opportunity can be powerful too. Sometimes people confuse them when the woman involved is wealthy enough." The words hit exactly where she wanted. Chloe's voice came back. "Pretend love is enough." Mason's laugh followed. "My quarterly bonus could pay for this trip twice." Celeste shifted, ready to step in. I did not want rescue from that sentence. I wanted to survive it myself. I looked at Bianca. "I am broke." The table froze. Bianca looked pleased. She thought I had admitted the part she wanted. So I finished. "I am broke. I still do not know which bread plate is mine, and I am pretty sure the salad was decorative, but I am not for sale." No one moved. I did not come here looking for a rich woman to stand behind. "And I am not beside Celeste because someone waved money at me." Bianca's smile faltered. "You keep trying to make me sound cheap because it makes your photo look cleaner," I said. "But I am not the one who turned someone's private disaster into dinner entertainment." That landed. It made Bianca's friend glance at her. It made Langford stop pretending this was only business. Bianca laughed too late. "You are defensive for someone with nothing to hide," Celeste answered before I could. "He has been insulted for half an hour by people who know nothing about him. Defensive is generous." That was the first time she defended me without needing to. Not the fake fiancé, me, Ethan. I looked at her. She did not look back. Her eyes stayed on Bianca. Cold. Sharp. Loyal in a way that felt like strategy until it did not. Langford folded his hands. "Miss Ashford, your concern has been thoroughly expressed." Bianca lowered her eyes. "Of course. I only want what is best for Celeste." Celeste said, "How exhausting for you." A server nearly dropped a spoon. I looked down at my plate before I smiled like an idiot. The dinner balance changed. Bianca was still dangerous. Langford was still watching. My name remained one search away from public entertainment, but I had not collapsed. That alone felt illegal. Then Langford changed targets. "Some investors are asking whether this morning affected your judgment," he said to Celeste. The table cooled. "If this becomes a lie," he added quietly, "I will not be the only one asking questions tomorrow." Bianca's eyes brightened. Celeste's face stayed calm. Too calm. I leaned back. If this is her distracted, I would hate to see everyone else focused. A few heads turned. I watched her handle a stolen photo, a rumor, a lobby full of phones, a fake engagement she absolutely did not plan well enough, and this dinner. I've been awake for less than a day of it, and I already need a chair emotionally. The diamond bracelet woman laughed again. Langford looked at Celeste. She did not plan well enough? Celeste looked at me. Danger. So much danger. "I am saying she adapts fast," I said. She kept staring. "And she should eat more." That came out before I could stop it. The table laughed. Even Natalie looked down at her tablet for 1 second. Celeste's glare could carve stone. Under it, the almost smile appeared again. Langford noticed. Not trust, but interest, maybe respect. With rich people, wins usually came with future invoices. Bianca's smile returned colder. Her gaze moved past me toward the terrace doors. 2 staff members whispered near the entrance. One held a phone. Natalie noticed. "Corporate hospitality liaison is arriving," she murmured. "Langford requested additional resort support." Celeste's eyes narrowed. I did not approve that. Langford's office went through the summit coordinator. Bianca took a slow sip of wine. Maybe she caused it, maybe she just smiled when it happened. At this point, I trusted Bianca about as much as airport sushi. The terrace doors opened. A man's laugh came through first. Confident, relaxed, familiar enough that my shoulders locked before my brain finished. A staff member stepped aside, and a man in a Whitmore Global badge walked onto the terrace holding a phone. Clean haircut, silver watch, smile too sure of itself. Mason Reed. Then Chloe stepped in beside him, her hand hooked around his arm, though Natalie's face made it obvious she had no official reason to be there. She wore a soft cream dress I had never seen before, probably bought for the vacation I had paid emotional rent on for years. Her smile stayed bright until she saw me. Then, it died. Her eyes moved to Celeste sitting beside me. Something sharper crossed Chloe's face before the sweet expression returned. Fast, but I saw it. Chloe had not expected me to look wanted. Mason was still laughing into the phone. Then his eyes crossed the table. Past Langford, past Bianca, past Celeste, to me. Sitting beside Celeste, Whitmore in a black suit that cost more than my original plane ticket. Mason stopped walking. His mouth opened. Old habit. He was about to laugh. Then his eyes flicked to Celeste. The laugh died before it reached his throat. His gaze dropped to the Whitmore Global badge on his chest. For the first time since I had known Mason Reed, he checked the room before opening his mouth. The terrace went quiet enough to hear the ocean below. Celeste followed my stare. You know him? She asked. I looked at the man who stole my girlfriend, copied my honeymoon, and worked for the woman beside me. Mason's face went pale. Chloe's hand slipped from his arm. For once, Mason Reed had run out of things to say. Yeah, I said, that's Mason. Yesterday, Mason Reed laughed at my proposal ring. Tonight, he stood in front of Celeste Whitmore and remembered how fragile employment could be. The terrace stayed silent. Mason's smile had died halfway across his face. His phone was still near his ear, but whoever was on the other end might as well have been speaking from another planet. He looked at me first. Old habit. Discount even. Then his eyes moved to Celeste beside me. New reality. Oh no. His gaze dropped to the Whitmore Global badge swinging against his chest. For once in his life, Mason Reed did math before opening his mouth. I wanted to enjoy it. I really did. A better man would have leaned back and let the silence punish him properly. I was not that man yet. My stomach tightened until breathing felt expensive. Because Mason was not just my old bully. He was the man Chloe chose while my ring was still in my pocket. And Chloe was standing behind him, staring at me like I had become a language she used to speak but suddenly could not read. Celeste's voice stayed low. You know him? Yeah, that's Mason. Mason swallowed. Tiny. Beautiful. Bianca saw it too. Her eyes brightened like someone had handed her a knife with a ribbon on it. Mason lowered his phone. Miss Whitmore, he said quickly. Corporate mode arrived so fast, I almost respected the survival instinct. I apologize for the interruption. I didn't realize you were attending tonight. Celeste looked at him. Clearly, one word, enough to straighten his shoulders. Chloe's eyes flicked from Celeste to me, then back again. She knew Mason worked at Whitmore Global. She had heard him brag about it. Now she was looking at the woman who owned the world. Mason used to make me feel small. The color drained from her face. Then she noticed Celeste was not looking at me like a mistake. Chloe's eyes narrowed for half a second before sweetness came back. I hated that I noticed she was still pretty. Getting dumped did not delete eyesight. It only made eyesight annoying. Natalie stepped closer from the wall, tablet already in hand. Mason Reed, Corporate Hospitality Division. His eyes jumped to her. Yes, Ms. Vale. Natalie's gaze moved to Chloe. And your guest? Mason opened his mouth, closed it. Chloe saved him, or tried to. I'm Chloe, she said softly. That voice. The gentle, careful one she used when she wanted people to think she was harmless. The same tone from outside my apartment before she shattered me politely. My jaw tightened. Celeste noticed. By now, that woman could detect my emotional damage faster than hotel staff detected unpaid minibar charges. Chloe stepped forward. Ethan. My name sounded different tonight. Yesterday, apology. Tonight, interest. I didn't expect to see you like this, she said, soft enough for the table to hear concern. I heard the real sentence underneath. I didn't expect you to look valuable. Worse, I didn't expect another woman to look at you like you were worth defending. My hand moved under the table. I did not reach for Celeste, I swear, but Celeste's fingers came close to mine anyway, a quiet warning. Or support. With Celeste, that difference was still under legal review. Bianca set down her glass. Oh, this is interesting. Every head turned. You know Ethan? Mason recovered first. We knew each other a long time ago. Smooth, polite, A corporate lie wearing deodorant. Yesterday is not that long ago, I said. The table shifted. Mason's fake smile twitched. Chloe looked at me too quickly. Bianca smiled. Yesterday, I should have stopped there, but Mason had called me old history. I could tolerate a lot, apparently not that. Mason cleared his throat. We happened to cross paths at the resort. Funny way to say you showed up here one day after humiliating me. The words came out before strategy could tackle them. Mason's eyes sharpened. Chloe whispered, Ethan, that voice used to make me apologize even when she held the knife. This time, I did not look away. Mason smiled thinner. I think you're confused. The man had shoved my backpack into trash in high school, dated my girlfriend behind my back, showed up at the same resort after laughing at my ring, and now wanted to discuss confusion. Celeste finally spoke. Mr. Reed. Mason's whole body corrected itself. Yes, Miss Whitmore, first real payoff. Yesterday, he said Whitmore Global like proof he won life. Tonight, the same name had become a collar around his voice. Celeste's eyes moved from his badge to Chloe. Why did you bring an unauthorized guest to a private dinner? Mason's confidence slipped. She was waiting nearby. I didn't realize this area had shifted into a restricted seating arrangement. Natalie looked at him over her tablet. It was always restricted. A security staff member near the doors took one step forward. Not dramatic. Close enough for Chloe to notice. She did. Mason saw it too. His hand slipped away from Chloe's elbow. 1 second ago, holding her looked romantic. Now it looked like evidence. My mistake, he said. Mason admitting a mistake. If high school Ethan had seen that, he would have checked the sky for falling chairs. Chloe clasped her hands. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to intrude. Mason was asked to support the event, and I came with him. I can leave. She sounded sweet enough that a few guests softened. That was Chloe's talent. She could make selfishness sound like an accident. Bianca touched her pearl earring. No need to rush away. If you know Ethan, perhaps you can help everyone understand. The security guard stopped. Waiting. Chloe could leave. Everyone could see that. She did not want to. Celeste's gaze cut to Bianca. Understand what? Everyone has been asked to accept Ethan as your private fiancé. Now 2 people have walked in who clearly knew him before today. That seems relevant. Relevant. Clean little trap. Langford folded his hands and said nothing. His silence gave Bianca room. Celeste leaned back, face unreadable. Bianca smiled at Chloe. How do you know Ethan? Chloe looked at me. We dated, she said softly, for a long time. The table went quiet. Rich people loved romance when it belonged to other people, and came with humiliation. Celeste's voice cut through. How long ago did that end? Chloe hesitated. Mason answered. Recently. Bad answer. Even he knew it. Celeste looked at him. I asked her. Mason shut his mouth. Another small refund for my teenage misery. Chloe's fingers twisted together. Yesterday. The terrace changed. No dramatic gasp, but several people looked from me to Celeste to Mason. The fake engagement had collided with my real heartbreak in front of everyone. Bianca's expression stayed gentle. Yesterday, that must have been painful. I laughed once. Painful is one word. Chloe's eyes glistened too fast. She had always been good at tears. Not fake exactly. That was the dangerous part. She could feel sorry for herself while hurting you. Ethan, she said, I never wanted to hurt you. That line belonged in a museum of garbage. Mason touched her elbow. She tried to handle it kindly. Kindly? I said. Mason caught himself too late. Celeste heard it. The table heard it. I mean, breakups are complicated. Standing beside my suitcases and laughing about my proposal ring was complicated. The words hit the air. Chloe's face went pale. Mason's hand dropped. Bianca stopped smiling for 1 second because I had given her something sharper than expected. Langford's eyes moved to Mason. Proposal ring? Bad door opening? Celeste's hand touched the back of mine. Light, brief. A reminder that I did not have to bleed on command. The ring was upstairs, hidden in my luggage. The table did not need it yet. I did not need it yet. Forget it, I said. Bianca leaned in. Oh, I do not think anyone wants to forget that. Celeste looked at her. Enough! Bianca smiled. I'm only trying to understand the timeline. Ethan was dating Chloe yesterday. Today he is your fiancé. Surely you see why people have questions. I see you enjoying them, Celeste said. Chloe looked between us. Something flashed in her eyes. Not grief, discomfort that another woman had the right to defend me. Then her voice softened again. Ethan, I'm not trying to embarrass you. For 3 years I wanted to believe lines like that. I looked at her. You brought Mason to my apartment yesterday. Her eyes dropped. You stood there while he laughed. I told him not to be cruel. Quietly, after he enjoyed it. Her mouth closed. A real hit. Small, but real. Mason's face hardened. Careful, man. The old Mason came out. Just enough. Then he remembered where he was. Mr. Carter, he corrected. So awkward, one guest coughed into a napkin. Celeste looked at Mason's badge. Do you normally tell guests to be careful? No, Miss Whitmore? Then choose a different tone. Yes, Miss Whitmore. Each yes was a tiny refund. Bianca watched the room adjust. Mason could not attack me directly. Chloe could attack softly. Bianca could make both useful. She turned to Chloe. You must be shocked, your ex-boyfriend appearing as Celeste's secret fiancé less than a day after your breakup. Chloe's expression trembled. I am shocked, she said. I'm also worried. The word worried turned control into kindness. Bianca tilted her head. About what? Ethan was very hurt yesterday. He acts like everything is a joke, but he feels things deeply. He planned a whole future around me. Ethan gives everything when he feels chosen. I just don't want anyone taking advantage of that. The table absorbed it. My skin went cold. Chloe had done it. Made herself the compassionate ex. Mason, the concerned boyfriend. Celeste, the powerful woman taking advantage. Me, a broken man being used by a billionaire. No shouting, just soft poison. A few people looked convinced. My mouth went dry. I hated Chloe for saying it. I hated myself because a pathetic leftover part of me still wanted her to care. Celeste spoke. Ethan is not a child. Simple, cold, firm, and I do not need a heartbroken man to protect my reputation. I need the truth to stop being turned into entertainment. Chloe flinched. Bianca tried to step in. Celeste, no one is saying. I am, Celeste said. Bianca stopped. Celeste turned to Chloe. Were you worried when you left him with 2 tickets and no luggage? Chloe's face changed. The table stilled. I looked at Celeste. I had told her enough in the room. Maybe she remembered. Maybe she listened harder than people expected. Chloe's throat moved. That was private. You made it relevant. Mason stepped forward. With respect, Miss Whitmore, this is not appropriate. Neither is bringing an unauthorized guest into a private dinner and letting her question my fiancé's emotional state. My fiancé, she said it easily now. Too easily. My heart did something extremely stupid. Langford finally spoke. Mr. Reed, you were requested as hospitality liaison. Why exactly is Miss Chloe present? Mason looked at Langford, then Celeste, then Chloe. Borrowed confidence had nowhere to stand. She was with me. Natalie lifted one eyebrow. That is not authorization. A security guard moved closer. Chloe had offered to leave. Now the room was quietly accepting. Mason stepped slightly away from her. Not enough to abandon her. Enough to look like an employee again. It hurt Chloe more than he meant it to. Bianca gave her a rescue rope. No, Chloe, please stay. If Ethan is part of tonight's concern, your perspective matters. Her perspective is convenient for you, Celeste said. Bianca smiled. So is Ethan's for you. Clean hit. Celeste had no easy answer. The fake engagement had survived Bianca's first test because I looked human enough to be believable. Chloe and Mason had made my humanity dangerous. Mason saw the opening. He took it. Miss Whitmore, I do not want to overstep. Which meant he absolutely did. But Ethan and I have history. I would be irresponsible if I said nothing. My hands curled under the table. Old Mason, dressed in professional language. Celeste watched him. What are you implying? Mason glanced at Chloe, then at me. That Ethan may not be the person you think he is. The terrace tightened. Chloe lowered her gaze like she was sad this had to happen. Bianca lifted her glass and did not drink. Yesterday, Mason laughed at me because he thought I had no power. Tonight he was standing in front of my fake fiancé, my ex, his boss, an investor, Bianca, and a table of rich witnesses, trying to repackage bullying as a warning. Celeste did not move. Mason looked at Chloe. Chloe looked away. His badge swung once against his chest. For the first time, Mason Reed had to choose between lying about me and risking the job he used like a crown. Celeste looked at the badge. Then his face. Then explain, she said. Mason swallowed. Celeste's voice dropped colder. As my employee! Mason Reed had spent years making me feel small. All it took to shrink him was Celeste Whitmore saying 3 words. As my employee. Mason stood near the doors with his Whitmore Global badge against his chest, phone dead in his hand, Chloe close enough to benefit and far enough to deny involvement. Celeste waited. She did not raise her voice. She did not repeat herself. Silence became the conference room Mason was already late to. Mason cleared his throat. Miss Whitmore, I only meant Mr. Carter may be going through an emotional situation. Mr. Carter. Yesterday, I was discount Ethan. Tonight, fear had upgraded me. An emotional situation, Celeste said. Yes, a personal one. I wanted to tell Mason to stop dressing up yesterday like weather, but the room already looked ready to call one wrong sentence proof that Chloe was right. So I kept my mouth shut. Painful. New. Mason took the silence as permission. Ethan and Chloe ended a long relationship yesterday. I understand, that creates confusion. Impulsive reactions. Impulsive reactions. The man walked into a private dinner with my ex on his arm after stealing her from me, and somehow, I was the impulsive one. Are you suggesting Ethan is using me? Celeste asked. I would not use that word. But you were building toward it. Mason looked at Langford, Bianca, then back to Celeste. I am saying, hurt people sometimes attach themselves to anything that makes them feel less humiliated. Hurt, humiliated, attached. 3 clean words that made me sound like a wet dog someone carried inside. Chloe lowered her eyes at the perfect time. Celeste's fingers stopped close to mine under the table. A choice waiting beside my hand. I stared at Mason. You're very professional tonight. Yesterday, the vocabulary was shorter. A woman near the far end almost smiled. Mason's jaw tightened. Bianca spoke gently. Ethan, you do see how this sounds? No, Bianca, please help me. I have only been publicly dissected by rich strangers for one dinner. I am still learning the curriculum. A small laugh escaped from the far end. Bianca tapped her glass once. You were dating Chloe yesterday. Today you are Celeste's secret fiancé. Mason, who knows you personally, is warning her you may be emotionally unstable. Emotionally unstable. The phrase landed exactly where she wanted. Chloe had not needed to call me crazy. Bianca could do it for her. Mason lifted both hands. I did not say unstable. You implied it, Celeste said. He shut up. Chloe stepped forward. Please, I don't want everyone turning this into an attack on Ethan. For half a second, some stupid leftover part of me heard concern. Then I watched her check the room before checking me. Cured. Ethan is a good person, Chloe said. Funeral music again. You said that yesterday, I said. I meant it. No, you used it. The table stilled. She recovered fast. If softness failed, Chloe softened harder. You love with your whole heart. That was always beautiful about you. Beautiful. I hated that word from her. It came polished for witnesses, then she twisted it. But when you feel abandoned, you panic. You make big decisions because you want to feel chosen again. The terrace absorbed it. If I got angry, she was right. If I stayed quiet, she sounded right. If I defended myself too hard, I looked like the abandoned man she was describing. Celeste turned toward Chloe. You speak about him like he is not sitting here. I am trying to protect him. From whom? Chloe's lips parted. Celeste did not let her answer. You walked into a private dinner with the man who laughed at his proposal. You told a table of strangers that his pain makes him reckless. Now you are calling that protection. Chloe's eyes filled again. Too fast, the diamond bracelet woman noticed. So did Langford. Not enough to turn the room, but enough for a crack. I did not ask Mason to laugh, Chloe said. Technically true. Chloe lived inside technically. No, I said. You just stayed. That hit the part she could not decorate. Mason stepped in quickly. This is exactly what I mean. Ethan is hurt. I understand that. But he is turning a difficult breakup into a public accusation. My reputation, Celeste said, is not improved by my employee bringing my fiancé's ex-girlfriend to a private dinner and diagnosing him in front of investors. Employee hit Mason again. His shoulders moved back. A server lowered his tray slightly. Bianca saw the room drifting and changed weapons. Fine, let us be less polite. The terrace braced. She turned to me. Mason mentioned a proposal ring. My stomach dropped. The little velvet box upstairs might as well have slammed onto the table. Were you going to propose to Chloe yesterday? My mouth opened. No sound. Chloe answered for me. Yes, too quick. I looked at her. She kept her eyes down like she was protecting my dignity while exposing the most pathetic part of my life from her mouth instead of mine. He was going to propose, Chloe said. I did not want everyone to know. I knew it would hurt him. I stared at her. You knew Mason knew. Chloe went pale. Mason looked at me sharply. Good. That slipped out clean. Bianca noticed. Mason knew? Chloe recovered. He guessed. Mason nodded too fast. I saw Ethan reach for his pocket. It was obvious. Maybe, maybe not. But I knew Chloe's panic when she answered. I had dated that rush of words for 3 years. Celeste saw it too. She did not ask in front of everyone. That mattered. Bianca smiled. So let me understand. Yesterday, Ethan was ready to propose to Chloe. Yesterday, Chloe ended the relationship. Today, Ethan is introduced as your fiancé. She turned to Celeste. Can you see why the timeline feels less like privacy and more like panic? Simple lies were dangerous. People could carry them without effort. The table shifted. Mason looked more confident. Chloe looked sad. Bianca looked pleased. So I spoke. Yeah, I was going to propose to Chloe yesterday. Every eye moved to me. The words hurt less than hiding them. I bought a ring I could barely afford. I booked a room I should not have booked. I planned a future with someone who had already decided I was not enough. The table quieted differently, less hungry. I looked at Mason, and then Mason laughed. He hardened. I did not laugh at you. Bad lie. Too fast, even Chloe looked uncomfortable. Mason corrected. I did not understand the full situation. You understood enough to enjoy it. This time, nobody laughed. Langford spoke. Mr. Reed, is that accurate? Mason looked at Langford, Celeste, me, cornered by manners. If he denied too hard, liar. If he admitted too much, cruel. If he blamed Chloe, weak, beautiful triangle. He forced a careful smile. It was a tense breakup. I may have made a comment I regret. A comment. My proposal ring had been demoted to a comment. Celeste's voice cut in. What comment? Specific things were harder to perfume. Mason's throat moved. I do not remember the exact wording. I smiled. Small, ugly, I do. Chloe looked at me sharply. Mason's eyes warned me. I ignored both. You said, oh crap, there was a ring. The sentence fell onto the table. Plain, cheap, exactly how he said it. A guest lowered her fork. Mason's face flushed. That is not how I meant it. It sounded hilarious yesterday. Chloe whispered, Ethan, please. There was a time that voice would have stopped me. Almost was better than before. Celeste spoke before I could answer. Do not ask him to make your shame smaller. Chloe went still. Bianca's fingers tightened around her glass. The room had shifted enough for Bianca to sharpen the next question. Where is the ring now, Ethan? My whole body locked. The object, the little velvet box upstairs, hidden in my luggage inside the honeymoon suite, the room Celeste promised not to turn into a cute story. The room Bianca had already turned into a scandal. Celeste's eyes moved to me. She knew because my face had the privacy settings of a billboard. Bianca leaned back. Oh, you still have it? Chloe looked at me. Her fake concern cracked into something messier. Jealousy. Regret. Panic that her old life was sitting at a rich table in a better suit beside a woman she could not compete with. Langford watched me like the answer mattered more than the ring. It did. If I still had Chloe's ring, how could I be Celeste's fiancé? If I refused, I looked fake. If I answered, Bianca got to drag my humiliation down the stairs and put it under terrace lights. Celeste turned to Bianca. Enough. No, Celeste. This is clarity. You asked everyone to accept him as your fiancé. He says there was a proposal ring for another woman yesterday. Fine. Let us be honest. Where is it? My mouth went dry. I could lie, say I threw it away, say it was gone, but Chloe knew me. Mason knew enough. Worse, I knew myself. I had packed it. Like an idiot who still needed proof that he had loved someone before love became a public joke. Bianca's smile softened. If the past means nothing, bringing it down should not hurt. Evil because it sounded reasonable. Celeste's chair shifted. She was about to stand, to end it, to protect me. For one dangerous second, I wanted her to. Then Chloe whispered, Ethan, you do not have to do this. I looked at her, soft face, same face she wore when she left me with 2 tickets and no luggage. That was when I understood. Chloe did not want to protect me from humiliation. She wanted to stay the only person who knew where the deepest cut was. Bianca wanted the ring as a weapon. Chloe wanted it as a secret. Mason wanted everyone to stop looking at him. I looked at Celeste. For once, she did not order, guide, correct, or rescue me. She waited. The choice was mine. That scared me more than Bianca. So? Bianca asked. Where is the ring? The whole terrace waited. I looked toward the hallway, the elevators, the room where my old future sat in a suitcase. Then, I told the truth. Upstairs. The table went silent. Bianca's smile widened. Then bring it down. Bianca asked me to bring down the ring like she was ordering dessert. For one humiliating second, I almost stood up. My chair scraped half an inch against the terrace floor before my pride caught up. Bianca's smile widened. Chloe's fingers tightened together. Mason stared at the table like he hoped the wood would open and hire him somewhere else. Then Celeste said, Sit down, Ethan. I froze. Celeste looked at me, not Bianca. No pity, no panic, command, the kind that assumed I had dignity before asking if I deserved it. My hand dropped from the chair. Slowly, I sat back down. Bianca tilted her head. Afraid of clarity? Celeste turned to her. No, I am tired of you mistaking cruelty for clarity. The line cut clean. A few guests looked away from Bianca. Langford's eyes sharpened. Bianca smiled through it. He admitted the ring is upstairs. If this engagement is real, why is showing it such a problem? Because it is not yours, Celeste said. It became relevant when he became your fiancé. You made it relevant because humiliating him was easier than admitting you took a private photo and built a scandal from it. Bianca's fingers tightened around her glass. Fast, small, visible if you were watching for cracks. Natalie was watching every crack. Mason stayed quiet. Mason loved noise when he thought the room belonged to him. His silence tonight had a badge on it. Langford finally spoke. Celeste, walking away from the question will not make it disappear. Celeste rose from her chair. Smooth, controlled. The entire table watched her stand. I know, she said. But I can choose where I allow a question to be asked. Then she looked at Langford. You wanted to know whether I panic under pressure. I am not panicking. I am refusing to let a dinner table turn a man's worst day into entertainment. For 1 second, I forgot how to breathe. The logical version was simple. She was protecting the fake fiancé because the fake fiancé was part of her damage control. Logic did not explain the way her hand came down near my shoulder and waited. Not grabbing, waiting, like I still got to choose. That almost hurt more. I stood. Bianca watched me rise. Chloe watched too, but her face had changed. Jealousy was hiding behind concern, and it was doing a bad job. She had thrown me away yesterday because I was too small for her future. Now, another woman stood up in front of rich people and protected the part of me Chloe left bleeding on the sidewalk. Apparently, Chloe did not like seeing someone else hold that space. Celeste looked at Natalie. End this conversation. Natalie stepped forward. Dinner will continue. Miss Whitmore and Ethan are taking a moment. Bianca laughed softly. A moment sounds convenient. Natalie looked at her. So does cruelty when you call it concern. That one almost made me smile. Security moved near the terrace doors. Subtle, a wall wearing suits. Celeste walked first. I followed beside her. As we passed Mason, his eyes stayed down. A petty part of me wanted to whisper, you probably wouldn't understand, the same line he had thrown at me with that badge yesterday. I did not. My throat felt too tight. Chloe moved before we reached the doors. Ethan! Celeste stopped. So did I. Chloe took a step forward, cream dress catching the terrace lights, face soft enough to fool anyone who had not survived her up close. Mason grabbed her wrist lightly. Chloe, not now. Interesting. Mason did not want her talking anymore. Every time Chloe opened her mouth, the room got closer to yesterday. Yesterday was where Mason looked least like a winner. Chloe slipped her wrist free without looking at him. Mason noticed. So did Celeste. Bianca absolutely noticed. Chloe looked at me again. I just want to talk to you. Her voice was quiet enough to pretend privacy and loud enough to perform. Celeste's face cooled. He is leaving. Chloe's eyes moved to Celeste. For the first time, the softness cracked into something sharper. I know he is leaving. I was speaking to Ethan. The terrace felt the claim inside it. My name in her mouth, my history in her tone. Celeste did not step back. Then speak carefully. Chloe smiled. Sweet on the surface. Rotten where it counted. Ethan, I am sorry this became public. You know me. I never wanted people laughing at you. I stared at her. She said that while Mason stood 2 steps behind her. The man who laughed first. The man she chose anyway. You keep saying what you never wanted, I said. You never say what you did. Her smile flickered. Good, a real flicker. Then she recovered. I know you are angry, but please do not let her turn your pain into something useful for her. Her eyes moved to Celeste on the word her. Territory, not concern. Celeste noticed too. She stayed silent, which annoyed Chloe more than an argument would have. Chloe took another step forward. Nobody here knows how much you gave me. Nobody knows how hard you try when you think someone chose you. She knew exactly where to press. Every sentence sounded like care. Every sentence reminded the room I had been the one begging love to be enough. Celeste's hand touched my sleeve. Lightly, a reminder that I was not standing alone. Chloe saw the touch. A real emotion flashed across her face. Jealousy. Not because she loved me properly. If she had loved me properly, she would not have left me outside my apartment with 2 suitcases and a ring burning through my pocket. No. Chloe was jealous because I was supposed to stay small after she left. Pack the ring. Delete the photos, become a sad little story she could tell herself she had handled kindly. Instead, I was standing beside Celeste Whitmore, and Celeste was touching my sleeve. Chloe's voice sharpened by 1 tiny degree. Ethan Carter! My full name cut through the night air before we reached the hallway. Natalie's head snapped toward her. Mason's face went tight. Celeste's hand stopped on my sleeve. Bianca's smile appeared slowly behind Chloe. The missing piece. My stomach dropped. Chloe had not slipped. She had aimed. Natalie moved first. Security. The nearest guard stepped between Chloe and the terrace doors, but it was too late. Bianca's friend near the table lowered her phone too quickly. The screen flashed black as she locked it. Natalie saw it. Bianca's smile became almost gentle. Ethan Carter, Bianca repeated. The way she said my full name made it sound less like an identity and more like a door unlocking. Chloe lowered her eyes. She looked sad. She also did not look surprised. The last stupid piece of me stopped making excuses for her. Celeste turned fully toward Chloe. You keep saying you are protecting him, but every time you speak he loses something. I only said his name. No, Celeste said. You gave it to someone who has been trying to find it all day. The dinner table was no longer the trap. The whole resort was. Natalie stepped beside me. Move. This time I did not joke. Celeste guided me through the terrace doors and into the private corridor. Warm ocean air vanished behind us. Marble reflected our legs as we walked. Security followed. For 3 seconds, the only sound was my breathing. Then the elevator chimed. A couple stepped out, saw Celeste, saw me, and slowed down. One whispered, "Is that him?" My full name had been loose for less than a minute, and the world already felt smaller. Natalie cursed softly. That was new. Natalie seemed like the kind of woman who scheduled curses in advance. Her tablet chimed. "Already?" I asked. She turned the screen toward us. A new gossip post appeared. No photo. Text on a pale blue background. Celeste Whitmore's mystery fiancé is Ethan Carter, recently dumped by another woman he planned to propose to yesterday. Replies stacked fast. Ethan Carter? He was proposing yesterday? Cover story confirmed. Poor guy or paid guy? Someone find his socials. My mouth went dry. Not mystery man. Me, Ethan Carter. Full name. Me, Ethan Carter. Full name. P. C. Great, I said. I got upgraded from scandal accessory to searchable idiot. Nobody laughed. Fair. Chloe's voice came from behind us. Ethan! Of course. When I turned, Chloe stood near the corridor entrance with Mason behind her and Bianca a few steps farther back. Security blocked them from coming closer, but the damage had already crossed the room by phone. Mason looked angry. Not at Bianca, at Chloe. He had not planned that. Chloe had. "Chloe, stop talking," he said. She ignored him. Classic. "I was trying to make sure people understood you are real," Chloe said. Celeste let out a short, humorless breath. Bianca stepped into view behind her. How thoughtful. Her eyes were on me now. With my name, I had become more interesting. That did not feel like status. It felt like being marked. Celeste said, "Miss Ashford, if another post using his private information goes up, this becomes harassment." Bianca smiled. "I did not post anything." "Your friend did," Natalie said. "Then speak to her. Light the match. Blame the smoke." I stared at Chloe. No audience smile this time. No fake tear. Just the girl who knew exactly how much I gave, how to make me feel chosen, and where I kept my shame. "You said my full name on purpose." Chloe swallowed. "Ethan, I was scared." "No. You were jealous." Her face changed so fast even Bianca looked amused. "I should have stopped." "I did not. You saw Celeste stand up for me. You saw her stop them from turning the ring into a joke. And you hated it." Chloe's eyes flashed. "Finally, a real emotion." "You think she cares about you?" Chloe asked. "She needs you. There is a difference." The words hit harder than I wanted. Because part of me knew Celeste needed the story, needed the fiancé, needed me visible enough to control the scandal, and believable enough to keep Langford from smelling panic. Then Celeste moved half a pace closer to me. She did not grab my hand. She looked at Chloe. "Needing someone does not give you permission to hurt him." Chloe's mouth opened. "No words. That felt good. Dangerously good." Bianca clapped once. "Soft. Mocking. How moving." But the internet does not care who is jealous. It cares about the timeline. Natalie's tablet chimed again. Another post. This one was worse. Broke ex-boyfriend becomes billionaire CEO's secret fiancé one day after failed proposal. My hands went cold. Mason saw it over Natalie's shoulder and looked away. Chloe finally looked afraid. Bianca smiled like she had been handed a cleaner knife. Then she looked at me. "Ethan Carter," she said softly. "That is much easier to search than mystery fiancé." My name hit the internet before I made it to the elevator. 5 minutes ago, I was mystery fiancé. Now I was Ethan Carter, the broke ex-boyfriend who supposedly jumped from a failed proposal to a billionaire CEO overnight. Hell of a promotion. No pay raise. Plenty of public humiliation. Bianca's last words followed me down the corridor. "Ethan Carter is much easier to search than mystery fiancé." She said it softly. People like Bianca never needed to shout when the room would carry her voice for her. Natalie moved first. "Keep walking." Celeste was beside me, white suit sharp under the corridor lights, face calm enough to make strangers believe she had control. I knew better now. Her jaw was locked. Her hand hovered near my arm, close enough to steady me if I fell, far enough not to drag me. That small distance was doing more emotional damage than a hug would have. The dinner had not ended. It had leaked. An elevator opened ahead of us. 2 resort guests stepped out holding phones. They saw Celeste first, then me. One woman's eyes dropped to her screen, then snapped back to my face. "Is that him?" My stomach folded. Too fast. Natalie stepped between us and the guests. Private corridor. They moved aside because Natalie said it like she had already fired 3 people before breakfast and was open to making it 4. We turned into a service corridor behind the lobby. Warm gold gave way to bright white, plain walls, staff doors, security cameras, faint smell of cleaning supplies. Honestly, I liked it better. The place looked honest about being stressful. My phone buzzed. Unknown messages, follower alerts, tagged posts, a comment from someone I had not spoken to since high school. Then another. Then 10 more. My thumb froze. I did not open anything. Cowardly? Maybe. Healthy? Also maybe. Celeste noticed. Do not look. Little late. My name is trending through bored rich people and whatever unemployed cousins they have. Natalie glanced back. Do not engage. What would I even say? Hello, yes, I am the searchable idiot. Please like and subscribe to my humiliation. No one laughed. Tough shift. Behind us, Chloe called. Ethan, wait. I closed my eyes for one step. A man has limits. Celeste stopped before I did. Security widened near the corridor entrance. Chloe stood behind them, hands clasped around her phone. Mason was behind her, face tight. Bianca stood farther back with a careful smile, and Langford watched from the terrace doorway like a man taking notes without needing a pen. Chloe looked at me. I need to fix this! That sentence should have scared everyone! It definitely scared Mason. He caught her wrist. Chloe, stop! She pulled free without looking at him. Again. That little movement said more about their relationship than a speech. Yesterday, Mason was the upgrade. Tonight, he was background noise with a badge. Chloe lifted her phone. I can post something. People will listen if it comes from me. My brain needed a second. Then it caught up and wanted to resign. No! I'm trying to help you. No, Celeste said, sharper than mine. Chloe's eyes moved to her. You have helped enough, Celeste said. Bianca spoke from behind her. Let her clarify. If Chloe really cares about him, her statement might calm people down. Natalie looked at Bianca. Nothing you suggest has ever calmed anything. Chloe's thumb moved over the screen. Mason stepped closer. Don't post. For once, Mason Reed had good advice. That alone should have made Chloe pause. It did not. Ethan, if I don't say something, people will think you're some kind of liar. Chloe, people think that because you gave them my name. Her eyes shone. I gave them your name because you are real. Funny, yesterday real was the problem. That hit. She looked down at her phone. I'm posting, she whispered. Natalie snapped. Do not. Chloe posted anyway. One tap. So quiet. Terrifying how much damage a thumb could do. Natalie's tablet chimed 3 seconds later. She went still. Celeste turned. What? Natalie showed us the post. White text over a soft beige background. Of course it was beige. Even her damage control had gentle lighting. Please don't attack Ethan Carter. He is a good person who was deeply hurt yesterday. Our relationship ended painfully, and I know he was vulnerable. I only hope no one uses his pain while he is trying to heal. I read it once. Then again, the words were kind. That was why they were cruel. Deeply hurt. Vulnerable. Uses his pain. Trying to heal. She had not called me unstable. She made everyone else feel smart for reaching the same conclusion. Bianca's friend reposted it within seconds. A gossip headline appeared under it. Ex-girlfriend confirms Ethan Carter was heartbroken hours before Celeste Whitmore engagement reveal. Comments moved. So he was dumped yesterday? Cover story. Poor guy got used. Celeste is ruthless. Chloe seems kind though. I stared at that last one. Chloe seems kind though. A laugh got stuck in my throat and hurt there. Chloe looked at me over her phone. Her face said, please understand. Her thumb said she had just handed my wound to the internet and wrapped it in a bow. Celeste took the tablet. She read the post once. Then she looked at Chloe. You keep protecting him in ways that hurt him. I said not to attack him. You confirmed he was vulnerable. He was. And you confirmed it for people using that word against him right now. Chloe looked toward me. Ethan knows I care. Something inside me went quiet, not healed. Tired in a way that finally had shape. No, I said. I know you like looking like you care. She flinched. Good. Not enough to destroy her. Enough to crack the sweetness where other people could see. Langford looked from Chloe to Celeste, then to me. His expression changed. Not sympathy. Doubt. The first kind that did not belong to Bianca. Mason moved suddenly. I'm going back to the dinner. Nobody stopped him. He walked toward the staff side door leading back around to the terrace and tapped his Whitmore Global badge against the scanner. Red light! A small beep cut through the corridor. Mason froze. Beautiful sound. He tried again. Red. Funnier the second time. He looked at the scanner like it had insulted his family. Then Natalie. What is this? Your access is paused. Paused? Yes. I'm assigned to corporate hospitality. Natalie looked at his badge. That is why this is worse. A staff member looked down quickly. A security guard's mouth twitched. Mine did too. I was suffering, but I was not dead. I could still enjoy a badge failing. Mason lowered his voice. Ms. Vale, with respect, I did not leak anything. You brought an unauthorized guest into a private dinner, discussed Miss Whitmore's fiancé in front of investors, and turned a guest's personal humiliation into a reputation risk. I was trying to protect the company. Then consider yourself protected from doing more. That line almost healed 3 years of bullying. Not fully. A little. Mason looked at Celeste. Miss Whitmore, I can explain. You will, Celeste said, but not in the hallway, and not while she keeps making statements on your behalf. Chloe snapped. I am not making statements for Mason. No, I said. You are making statements for yourself and using everyone else's decoration. The corridor quieted. For 1 second, I saw the real anger under Chloe's soft face. Then she blinked and turned wounded. I cannot believe you would say that to me. Victim turn. Classic Chloe. Fast enough to give whiplash. Langford stepped into the corridor. This is public now. No greeting, no softness, just the problem. He looked at Chloe's post on Natalie's tablet. By morning, the question will not be whether Celeste had a private relationship. The question will be whether she used a heartbroken man as a cover story. The words hit me first. Then, Celeste. Worst lies were built from real pieces. I was heartbroken. Celeste had used the fiancé story. The engagement was not real. Put those pieces in Bianca's mouth, Chloe's voice, and a gossip headline, and the truth looked guilty even when the lie was uglier. Natalie's tablet chimed again. Someone had found an old photo of me and Chloe from 2 years ago. Me in a cheap button-up, Chloe smiling against my shoulder. Caption, my safe place. The internet placed it beside Celeste's lobby photo. Old me, happy and broke. New me, stiff in a black suit beside a billionaire. The post underneath read, from safe place to secret fiancé in 1 day? My stomach turned. That was private, I said. Chloe heard it. It was on my page, your page. A realization, not a question. She had not only given them my name, she gave them a path, old photos, old comments, 3 years of little private happiness I thought belonged to us. Now strangers were using it to decide if I was pathetic, paid, or useful. Celeste stepped closer and touched my arm. Firm, visible, Ethan. Just my name. No order, no strategy. She looked angry for me. I did not know where to put that, so I made a bad joke because apparently that was my emotional health plan. Great, my old couple photos are online. Can someone at least pick one where my hair was less economically stressed? Natalie stared. Celeste stared. A security guard looked away quickly. Then Celeste said dryly, your priorities are impressive. My nervous system is a budget operation. For 1 second, pressure loosened. Then Bianca ruined it. You two do make an interesting pair. Her voice was amused. Her eyes were busy. She looked at Mason's failed badge scanner, Chloe's phone, Natalie's tablet, Celeste's hand on my arm, then Langford. She was assembling the next version. Celeste saw it too. Enough. The word was not loud. It worked anyway. She looked at Natalie. Private operations room, now. Security moved. Langford followed without invitation because apparently he belonged wherever money might catch fire. Bianca tried to follow. A guard stepped in front of her. I am part of the dinner, Bianca said. You are not part of this room, Natalie answered. Bianca's smile froze. Chloe tried to move after us. Celeste stopped without turning. Now! Chloe went still. Celeste looked back. Celeste looked back. You do not get private access to the man you made public. Security opened the operations room. Inside, the resort's polished surface disappeared. Wall monitors, staff schedules, security feeds, property maps, a coffee machine fighting for its life in the corner. Finally, a room that looked as tired as I felt. Natalie connected her tablet to a wall screen. One box showed the gossip account, one showed Chloe's post, one showed the old photo, one showed the hallway camera. Chloe stood outside with her phone in both hands. Mason stood behind her, badge useless against his chest. Bianca waited farther back, watching everyone like she was choosing the next wound. My life had become a security presentation. Very professional, very horrible. Natalie refreshed the gossip feed. Heartbroken ex-boyfriend becomes billionaire CEO's secret fiancé after 1 night in honeymoon suite. Comments moved faster. Cover story. She used him. He looks desperate. Chloe tried to warn everyone. That last one offended me personally. Celeste read the headline once. Her face did not change, but one finger pressed against her sleeve hard enough to wrinkle the white fabric. Langford noticed. So did I. Bianca's version was working. Not fully. Enough. Enough to make Celeste look like a powerful woman using a broken man as a shield. Enough to make me look like a desperate rebound with a hotel room number. Enough to make Chloe look kind. Natalie switched to the front desk feed. A red alert blinked in the corner. Royal Wing access dispute. That should not be related, Natalie said. Please tell me unrelated things still exist in this resort. Nobody answered. Bad sign. Natalie expanded the feed. The Royal Wing entrance appeared. 2 resort staff members stood in front of a man in a dark shirt and loosened collar. Expensive in a different way from Langford. Less controlled, more dangerous because he looked like no one had told him no often enough. His sleeves were rolled up, one hand gripped his phone. Natalie tapped audio. Tell Celeste I'm here. Celeste went still. Not cold, Still, different thing. Who is that? I asked. Celeste did not answer. Natalie did. Adrian, just one name, apparently enough to change the temperature. My chest tightened. Adrian, the man who made Celeste walk into my room in a black dress with a missing heel and a champagne bottle in hand. Her boyfriend, her cheating boyfriend. And now he was standing in the lobby while people called me her fiancé. Fantastic. My fake engagement had developed a warranty problem. Natalie reached for her phone. I will have security remove him. Langford spoke before she could call. No. Celeste turned. If he is connected to last night, Langford said, removing him without explanation makes this worse. I almost laughed. Apparently the only thing worse than being exposed as a fake fiancé was being fake engaged to a woman whose real boyfriend had just walked into the building. On the hallway feed, Bianca noticed something. Her head turned toward the lobby direction. Then she looked back at the operations room door. A slow smile appeared. Not wide, just enough to tell me she had smelled blood in a new direction. Chloe noticed Bianca's face and turned too. Mason looked up. Inside the operations room, Adrian's voice came through clearer. Tell Celeste to come down, now. One staff member stepped in front of him. Adrian lifted his phone. I can call her myself, but she blocked me after overreacting last night. Celeste's face changed by half a degree. Hurt. Not embarrassed. Hurt. My anger shifted toward the man on the screen. Overreacting. Familiar word in nicer shoes. Chloe had made my pain sound like panic. Mason made my humiliation sound like a misunderstanding. Now Adrian was making Celeste's betrayal sound like attitude. Rich men used discount emotional tactics too, they just wore better watches. Adrian leaned closer to the front desk. And tell her I saw the posts. Natalie's hand stopped above her phone. Adrian smiled. Ask her why people were calling some stranger her fiancé. The operations room froze. Langford slowly looked at me. Then at Celeste. On the hallway feed, Bianca's smile widened. Chloe's mouth opened slightly. Mason looked like his disaster had a bigger brother. I stared at the screen, at the man who had made Celeste drink herself into the wrong room. Adrian looked straight into the lobby camera. Celeste, he said, like he knew she would hear it eventually. Stop hiding! Then he smiled. And bring your fiancé. The man who made Celeste drink herself into the wrong room was now asking to meet her fiancé. Awkward, because apparently that was me. Adrian stood on the operations room screen near the royal wing entrance, collar open, sleeves rolled, hair messy in an expensive way. He looked offended by consequences. Not sorry, offended. The guy cheated, got blocked, saw a scandal online, and came to the lobby like customer service had misplaced his luggage. Natalie reached for her phone. I'll have security remove him. Langford stopped her. If he is connected to last night, removing him without explanation gives Bianca another story before he reaches the driveway. I hated that he had a point. Celeste stared at the screen. Adrian stepped closer to the staff member blocking him. The staff member held his ground, but discomfort showed in his shoulders. Adrian did not look like a man used to close doors. He looked like every lock was waiting for his name. Celeste lowered her arms. We go down. Natalie turned sharply. Celeste, I am not hiding from him. Her voice was steady. Too steady. She moved toward the door then stopped beside me. You do not have to come. I could have stayed. Smart Ethan should have stayed behind the security feeds and bad coffee. My name was online, my ex had posted my emotional autopsy in beige, and Mason's badge had failed, which was nice but not legally enough to heal me. Then I looked at Adrian on the screen. He smiled at the staff like the resort was rude for not rolling out champagne. I knew that type. Chloe used the soft version. Mason used the badge version. Bianca used the pearl earring version. Adrian used the shameless version. Different faces, same trick. Hurt someone, then act insulted when they bleed in the wrong direction. I stood. Celeste looked at me. I know, I said. Not courage, poor impulse control in a suit. But Celeste understood. Natalie exhaled. Fine, no improvising. I looked at her. Have you met tonight? Unfortunately. The hallway outside the operations room was not empty. Chloe, Mason, and Bianca waited there like bad decisions with formal wear. Bianca smiled first. Going somewhere? Natalie stepped out before Celeste could answer. Not with you. Bianca touched her chest. So rude. So accurate, I muttered. Celeste walked past her. I followed beside Celeste. B-side. That word had become a job requirement and an emotional hazard. Chloe moved immediately. Ethan, I did not stop. She followed 2 steps. Please don't let this get worse. You posted my name and my emotional condition to the internet, I said. Worse already has a reserved table. Her face pinched. I was trying to protect you. Then retire. A security guard near the elevator made a tiny sound. Maybe a cough. Maybe emotional support. The elevator opened. Celeste entered first. Natalie followed. Langford stepped in after her like he belonged in every room where money might catch fire. I entered beside Celeste. Bianca tried to step in too. Natalie lifted one finger. "No, this is still a resort," Bianca said. "And this elevator is full." It was not. There was plenty of space. Bianca looked at the empty corner, then at Natalie. For once, she did not push. The doors closed on her smile. Peaceful, 2 seconds. Inside, the elevator mirror showed us too clearly. Celeste stood straight, hands at her sides. Natalie typed on her phone. Langford watched the doors. I watched Celeste's reflection because looking directly felt too obvious. Her face was calm. Her hand was not. Her thumb pressed into the side of her index finger again and again. Small, controlled, human. I leaned closer. "Do you want me quiet or useful?" Celeste did not look at me. "Those are my options. I can also be embarrassing, but that usually happens without planning." Her mouth moved. "Almost. Useful. Dangerous choice." "I know." That answer did something weird to my chest. Again. My chest needed to stop participating without permission. The doors opened at lobby level. Noise hit first. Rich people did not roar. They whispered in clusters, lifted phones halfway, and pretended not to stare while staring with advanced technique. Adrian stood near the royal wing entrance, framed by dark wood panels and 2 gold-toned lamps. 3 staff members blocked him now. When he saw Celeste, satisfaction crossed his face. Not regret, not shame, satisfaction. Like her arrival proved he still had a leash somewhere. Phones rose. Bianca had not been allowed into the elevator, but she must have taken the public stairs. She was already near the marble staircase with her phone in her hand. Some people took stairs for exercise. Bianca took them for damage control. Chloe and Mason appeared from a side corridor a few seconds later. Mason looked annoyed. Chloe looked worried. Fake worried. Real jealous. Busy woman. Adrian ignored all of them. "Finally," he said. Celeste stopped several steps away. Close enough to face him. Far enough that he could not touch her. Good distance. CEO distance. CEO distance. One word. Flat. If I were him, I would have packed a bag and left the island. Adrian smiled wider. "You blocked me. You noticed. I was trying to talk to you like an adult. You lost that privilege last night." His eyes moved to me. "So this is him?" The lobby turned. Adrian looked me over. Suit. Tired face. The expression of a man awake in emotional traffic too long. "This is your fiancé," he said. Fiancé like someone had served him tap water in crystal. I raised one hand. "Hi, Ethan, the fiancé apparently." Still adjusting emotionally. A staff member looked down. Celeste did not smile, but her shoulder loosened by a breath. Adrian's eyes narrowed. "I wasn't speaking to you." "Then stop speaking about me." The lobby grew interested. "Terrible kind of quiet." Adrian stepped 1 inch forward. Security shifted. He stopped and lifted both hands as if everyone else was dramatic. Shamelessness, full body edition. He looked at Celeste. "You get angry at me for one mistake, then announce a fiancé overnight?" He gave an offended laugh. "You got engaged because I kissed someone once? One mistake." The phrase landed hard because I had heard its cousins all night. Emotional situation. Vulnerable. Overreacting. People who did ugly things loved clean phrases. "One mistake?" Celeste asked. "Celeste, say it clearly. This is not the place. You came to the lobby. You made it the place." Phones lifted higher. Adrian's jaw flexed. "You walked in at the wrong moment and refused to let me explain. I walked in while your mouth was on another woman's mouth." A woman near the lounge whispered, "Oh." Adrian lifted one hand. "She kissed me." I almost admired the speed. Pathetic, but efficient. "Your hands were on her waist," Celeste said. She was upset. "So you comforted her with your tongue?" I asked. The words escaped before I could stop them. Natalie closed her eyes for half a second. Langford looked at me like I had thrown a chair into a board meeting. Adrian turned slowly. "What did you say?" I said cheating with customer service language is still cheating. A few people laughed. "Enough." Adrian's smile disappeared. "I enjoyed that in an unhealthy but honest way." Chloe stepped forward. "Ethan, don't get dragged into her problem." Every soft syllable from Chloe had started sounding like a trap-wearing perfume. "You made my pain public," I said. "You do not get to give advice about hers." For once, no soft reply arrived on time. Adrian looked between us, then back to Celeste. "So this is what this is. You found another broken person and decided to make a point." "Broken person, meant for me." Aimed at her. Adrian turned slightly so more of the lobby could hear. "She caught one bad moment, got drunk, disappeared, then walked out of a honeymoon suite with this guy. Now he is her fiancé." Bianca's phone lifted fully. Adrian's story had arrived. Shameless. Easy. Ugly. Celeste used a heartbroken man to punish her cheating boyfriend. The worst lies were built from real pieces. That was apparently the theme of my vacation. The room did not fully believe him, but it listened. That was enough. Celeste stepped forward. You cheated. One kiss. You lied. You blocked me. You followed me here. You made me look like an idiot online. That almost made me choke. He said it with real pain, not because he hurt her, because people might laugh at him. Celeste stared. I made you look like an idiot? Adrian spread his hands. You announced an engagement with a stranger after one night. What was I supposed to think? Maybe. Wow, my cheating had consequences, I said, just brainstorming. Natalie muttered. Ethan, sorry, useful got away from me. Celeste's mouth almost smiled. Adrian saw it. That tiny, almost smile did more damage to him than any insult. He stepped toward Celeste. Come upstairs to my suite, we're talking privately. A command, not a request. Celeste did not move. No. He reached for her wrist. I moved half a step before thought arrived. Celeste lifted her palm between them. Do not touch me, the lobby went sharp. I stopped beside her. She did not need a shield. She needed someone to stay where she asked him to stand. Adrian looked at my position. You barely know her. True, I said. That surprised him. I do not know her favorite song. I do not know her birthday. I do not know how many companies she owns, and honestly, I am scared to ask because the number might require a chair. But I know what it looks like when someone hurts you and then gets offended by your reaction. The lobby listened. I looked at Adrian. You look very offended for a man who started the fire. His face reddened. Bianca's phone stayed up, but her smile changed. She was no longer sure who the clip helped. Langford watched me for a long second, then looked at Celeste. Not trust, but interest. Maybe respect. I was collecting weird men's interest tonight. Not my favorite hobby. Adrian pointed at Celeste. You are letting him speak for you now? No, Celeste said. Then she looked at me. He is speaking beside me. My throat tightened. Rude of her to say that in public while my nervous system was already understaffed. Adrian heard it too. Jealousy cut through his expression. Bianca stepped closer. Adrian, are you saying Celeste announced this engagement after your argument last night? Natalie turned. Do not feed him questions. I am only asking what everyone is wondering. No, I said. You are farming footage. Bianca's gaze flicked to me. You are very confident for someone whose own ex is worried about him. Chloe lowered her eyes at the perfect time. Professional scammer timing. My ex is worried, I said. Celeste's ex is offended and you are concerned. Tonight has a lot of bad people using gentle words. A few phones lowered. Not all, a few. Adrian did not like being grouped with them. Good, he belonged there. He turned back to Celeste. Enough. If he is your fiancé, prove it. Everyone understood the word prove. Phones lifted again. Celeste said, I do not perform for you. You already performed in the lobby this morning. You held his hand. You announced him. You let everyone believe it. His eyes moved to me. So prove it. Bianca's camera rose. Chloe's face changed before she could hide it. Adrian smiled. If he is really your fiancé, kiss him. The lobby went hungry, silent. Every phone turned toward us. Chloe's eyes widened like she'd been slapped without being touched. Mason looked from Chloe to me. Langford stopped moving. Natalie's jaw tightened. Celeste's hand went still beside mine. And for the first time all night, pretending to be her fiancé stopped feeling like a lie and started feeling like a choice I was about to be forced to make. Adrian ordered Celeste to kiss me in front of the whole lobby. Celeste looked at me like she might actually do it. Then the Royal Wing elevator opened behind him. That tiny chime cut through the silence. Every phone shifted toward the sound, mine included, not my phone, my entire nervous system. For 3 seconds I had been staring at Celeste Whitmore's mouth and trying not to die in public. Then the elevator doors slid open. A woman stepped out wearing Adrian's black jacket over a silver dress, hotel slippers on her feet, small clutch in one hand, Royal Wing keycard in the other. She looked annoyed, then she saw the lobby, phones, security, Celeste, me, Adrian. Her annoyance vanished. Adrian? The lobby held still. Adrian turned. For the first time since he appeared, shameless confidence dropped clean off his face. The woman walked one step forward, then stopped when she noticed Celeste. Celeste did not move. Her face stayed still. I knew that stillness now. Pain wearing armor. The woman's eyes moved from Celeste to Adrian. The front desk called the suite, she said. They said you were downstairs making a scene. A few people whispered. Bianca's phone rose higher. She had ordered humiliation and accidentally received a buffet. Adrian lifted a hand. Go back upstairs. Wrong answer. Even I knew that, and I had spent most of the day publicly wrong. The woman blinked. Why? Now is not the time. She looked around again. Her eyes landed on Celeste's face. Confusion came first, then fear, then the ugly realization that everyone else knew more than she did. She looked back at Adrian. You told me you and Celeste were already over. That sentence hit harder than the elevator chime. A man near the front desk lowered his phone slowly. Bianca's smile froze because the story changed direction without asking her permission. Adrian looked at the woman like she had slapped him. Stop talking! You said you came down to clear up a rumor. He stepped toward her. Security moved first. Adrian stopped. Good. I was starting to like security. Very quiet people. Great timing. Celeste's voice came out flat. He told you we were over? The woman looked at her, ashamed now. He said you ended things last week. The lobby shifted. No gasps. Rich people saved dramatic sounds for wrong wine, but bodies changed direction, phones lowered by inches. Staff looked at Adrian instead of Celeste. Celeste's face did not change, but her hand closed once at her side. Hard. I wanted to touch it. I did not. This was not my wound to grab. Adrian laughed once. Terrible sound. That is not what I said. You did. I said things were complicated, I muttered. Complicated is apparently cheater for available. A couple people laughed. Adrian cut his eyes toward me. You should shut up. Celeste moved half a step beside me. He should not. My brain had no idea what to do with that. Dangerous things that felt good. New category. Bianca stepped forward. Well, this is becoming unfortunate. Natalie looked at her. For whom? Bianca did not answer, because the answer had changed. 5 minutes ago, Adrian made Celeste look reckless. Now his affair partner stood in hotel slippers at the Royal Wing elevator, wearing his jacket, explaining that he lied to her too. That was not rumor. That was a man stepping on his own neck. Adrian pointed toward the elevator. Go upstairs. The woman did not move. That was when I realized she was not Bianca or Chloe. Maybe careless, maybe vain, maybe stupid enough to believe a rich man's smooth half-truths, but she looked like someone just learning what game she had been invited into. I asked you last night, she said, voice lower. I asked if she knew. Celeste's eyes moved to Adrian. The lobby followed. She misunderstood, Adrian said. Again? I asked. Adrian snapped. What? Sorry. It is impressive. Every woman around you misunderstands things exactly when your hands are somewhere they should not be. Natalie said, Ethan. This time I shut up, mostly because Celeste's mouth twitched. Adrian saw it, his face flushed. You think this is funny? He asked her. No. The word killed every small laugh in the lobby. Celeste walked one step closer. Security shifted with her, but she lifted one hand and they stopped. Her voice stayed low. You cheated on me, lied to her, followed me downstairs, called my pain an overreaction, demanded private access to my room, tried to touch me, and then ordered me to kiss another man in front of strangers because your ego was bleeding. The woman in silver stared at Adrian. Chloe's lips parted. Mason swallowed. Langford watched Celeste like he was seeing the morning scandal rebuild itself in front of him. Celeste finished. No, Adrian, I do not think this is funny. For once, Adrian had no answer ready. The woman in silver slowly pulled his jacket off her shoulders. Everyone watched. She held it out. Adrian did not take it. The jacket hung between them like evidence with sleeves. Bianca lowered her phone by 1 inch. Tiny. But I saw it. Her clip was no longer clean. The woman placed the jacket on the front desk counter. I did not know, she said to Celeste. Celeste looked at her for a long moment. Now you do. No forgiveness, no screaming, a door closing. The woman stepped back toward the elevator wall, holding her clutch with both hands. Adrian hated that because she had stopped helping him. He turned to Celeste. You are enjoying this. You came here to embarrass me. You kissed him, Adrian snapped, pointing at me. I blinked. Not yet. Bad. Very bad. My mouth saw disaster and added seasoning. Chloe's face changed hard. That one little sentence reminded everyone of the almost kiss. The kiss Adrian demanded. The kiss interrupted by the woman who had finished ruining him. Phones lifted again. Adrian spread his hands, desperate enough to go shameless again. You still have not proved anything. This entire performance is about me. You want to punish me? Fine, but do not pretend this man means anything. Chloe stepped forward. Ethan! Her voice was soft, but panic lived under it now. Real panic! You do not have to let her prove anything with you! Mason looked at her slowly. He finally realized her concern kept pointing at me. Chloe did not notice. Adrian smiled because Chloe handed him a line. See? Even his ex knows he is being used. Used. Vulnerable. Heartbroken. Cover story. The old trap came back. Funny how cruel people kept finding soft words for the same knife. I looked at Chloe. Yesterday I would have stepped back, maybe apologized, maybe thanked her for caring while she cut. Today I had watched her hand my name to Bianca, call it protection, and post my pain under beige font. I was learning. Slowly. Painfully. But learning. You are right, I said. Chloe's eyes widened. Adrian's smile sharpened. I turned toward Celeste. She does not have to prove anything with me. The lobby quieted. I looked at Adrian. And you do not get to order her body around because your apology tour caught fire. Adrian's smile died. Good. I was becoming fond of that expression. I looked back at Chloe. If Celeste kisses me, it will not be because you are scared, or because he is embarrassed, or because Bianca needs a cleaner video. Chloe's mouth opened. Nothing came out. Then Celeste said my name. Ethan. I looked at her. The lobby did not disappear. Unfortunately, phones and rich people remained very present. But Celeste was looking at me now. Only me. Her control had thinned enough to show the woman underneath, the one who woke in my room with smeared makeup, the one who held a champagne bottle because fear was easier than panic, the one who called me no one, then spent the day proving she heard when that hurt. She stepped closer. One step, my lungs forgot their job. She stopped in front of me. Not for him, she said. That was not a question. But she waited like I still had an answer, Adrian demanded. Bianca recorded, Chloe warned, Mason watched, Langford judged, Celeste waited, enough time for me to step back. I did not. Not for him, I said. Her hand touched my lapel. Light, careful. The lobby went so still I heard a phone buzz near the staircase. Then Celeste kissed me. It was not long, not staged, no slow music, no perfect angle. Just her fingers on my jacket, my hand hovering near her waist because my brain stopped sending useful instructions, and her mouth warm against mine for 2 seconds that somehow took the whole lobby with them. I should have thought about the lie, the cameras, Langford, Chloe, the fact that I had known this woman for less than a full day. I thought none of that. I thought, oh, very intelligent, masculine emotional masterpiece. Oh. When Celeste pulled back, she did not step away immediately. Neither did I. Probably a problem. Bianca's phone was still raised, but her smile had frozen wrong. The clip did not look like Adrian winning. It looked like he demanded proof and hated the answer. Chloe stood near the side corridor with one hand against her chest. No fake concern, no sweet sadness, shock. Then jealousy hit, clean, visible, ugly enough that Mason saw it. Mason looked at Chloe, then me, then Celeste. Slow realization crossed his face. Chloe had not looked at him once during the kiss. Not once. Different kind of punishment. Adrian took one step back. For a man who asked for proof, he looked offended by evidence. You did that to humiliate me. Celeste's hand remained on my lapel one extra heartbeat before she let go. No, you handled that yourself. A sound moved through the lobby. Not laughter. Recognition. People were no longer watching Celeste explain herself. They were watching Adrian lose control. Bianca tried to recover. A kiss under pressure does not make an engagement real. No, I said, but asking for one tells everyone what kind of person wanted proof. Bianca's smile froze. Chloe stepped forward again. Ethan! Mason reached for her wrist. This time, she did not pull free. Not because she wanted him, because she had forgotten he was there until his hand touched her. That might have been worse. You were going to marry me yesterday, Chloe said. Pain carried the sentence through the lobby. I looked at her. For a second, I saw the old us. Cheap dates, long bus rides, Hawaii messages, her head on my shoulder and the old photo strangers were using to call me desperate. Then I saw her outside my apartment. No luggage. Mason's hand at her waist. Yesterday, I said. I still believed you cared. Chloe flinched. Mason's hand tightened around her wrist. Adrian laughed bitterly. Touching. Both of you found wounded little speeches to go with your performance. The woman in silver looked at him. You should stop. Unexpected. Adrian turned. She stood near the elevator wall, arms folded, no longer trying to disappear. You lied to me, she said. You humiliated her. Now you are angry because she kissed someone else after you asked her to. That landed clean. Adrian stared at her. She lifted her chin. I said you should stop. Security moved closer. Natalie stepped forward. Mr. Voss, you are no longer authorized near Miss Whitmore's room or the royal wing without escort. Adrian looked at Celeste. You are letting your assistant ban me. No, Celeste said. I am letting her say it politely. Beautiful, terrifying. Adrian looked at me, raw ego showing. This is not over. Very original. Villains should unionize and workshop exits. You have said a lot tonight, I said. Maybe rest. A woman near the lounge laughed out loud, then covered her mouth. Too late, Adrian heard it. Security stepped closer. The phones were pointing at him now. At the woman in silver, at the jacket on the counter, at his face after the kiss. The story had moved. For once, Bianca had not moved it exactly where she wanted. Adrian turned and walked toward the lobby doors with one security guard beside him. Not dragged out, handled carefully. Important enough to be polite to, exposed enough to hate every second. The woman in silver looked once at Celeste. I'm sorry. Celeste gave her no softness and no cruelty. Be more careful with men who call women complicated. The woman nodded, left Adrian's jacket on the counter, and walked out alone. Good for her. Probably. I had enough of my own story to survive. Natalie's phone buzzed. She checked it. The clip is spreading. Bianca's friend had one angle, someone else had another. The new headline formed under a short video. Celeste Whitmore kisses secret fiancé after cheating ex-confrontation. Comments moved fast. Wait, that looked real. Who is Ethan Carter? The ex got cooked. Is this actually her fiancé? The clip was no longer a hallway rumor. It was a public story with my face clear in the center. My face. My full name. My lips unfortunately performing better than my resume ever had. Great, I said. At least my first viral moment includes tailoring. Natalie did not laugh. Tough crowd. Celeste looked at the clip once. Then she looked at me. More dangerous than the kiss. The kiss had lasted 2 seconds. This look had questions. She stepped closer. Come upstairs with me. My body forgot how to stand. Again. Impressive commitment from my body tonight. To your room? To the room I was supposed to enter last night. Royal Wing. Room 1208. The room she missed. Behind us, Chloe whispered my name. Ethan. I did not turn. That was new. Celeste noticed. So did Mason. The Royal Wing elevator opened again, gold light spilling out like an invitation. Somewhere upstairs, Royal Wing 1208 waited. Celeste held out her hand. Open. Steady. Not pulling. The lobby watched. My phone buzzed in my pocket. The clip spreading. The names spreading. The kiss spreading. Everything moving faster than I could understand. But Celeste's hand was still there. And for the second time in 24 hours, room 1208 became the most dangerous number in Hawaii. Celeste asked me to come upstairs after kissing me in front of half the resort. That sounded romantic. Then I remembered half the resort had phones. The Royal Wing elevator stood open, gold inside, inviting me to make another life-ruining decision with better lighting. Celeste held out her hand. Not pulling. Waiting. Behind us, the lobby watched like everyone had forgotten how to blink. Bianca still had her phone raised near the staircase. Chloe stood near the side corridor with one hand pressed to her chest. Mason stood beside her, but his eyes were on Chloe now. Good. Let him enjoy the view from the emotional dumpster. Natalie stood near the elevator with one hand on her phone, already looking like the next disaster had sent her a calendar invite. Langford watched without speaking. Celeste's hand stayed open. Then Chloe said my name. Ethan. Soft. Familiar. The sound used to make me turn before I knew I was turning. I did not turn this time. Not heroic. Mostly my neck finally remembering it had choices. I stepped into the elevator with Celeste. The doors began to close. Chloe took one step forward. Security shifted. Mason caught her wrist again. This time, Chloe looked down at his hand like she had forgotten he was attached to it. The elevator doors closed on that expression. I wanted to frame it. Petty. Healing. The elevator rose. Natalie stood with us, along with one security guard near the doors. Good. Romance was less dangerous with witnesses. Maybe. Natalie checked her phone. The clip has 3 angles now. 3. Bianca's friend. A guest near the lounge. Someone at the front desk. Great, my mouth has better coverage than most elections. The security guard looked straight ahead with the professionalism of a man fighting for his life. Celeste did not check her phone. She stared at the elevator doors. Her fingers were relaxed, but I could see the faint wrinkle near her sleeve where she had been pressing earlier. The kiss had not made her calm. It moved the danger somewhere else. Natalie kept reading. Current captions vary. Cheating ex exposed. Billionaire CEO kisses secret fiancé. Ethan Carter kisses Celeste Whitmore after ex-confrontation. My full name beside hers still felt wrong, like discount luggage beside a private jet being called a matching set. There is also one saying you kissed her for money, Natalie added. Nice. Glad capitalism made the guest list. Celeste turned her head. Do not read those. I am not reading them. Natalie is narrating my public execution. Natalie lifted her eyes. I can stop. No, keep going. I like knowing which part of my dignity is on fire. Celeste looked at me fully. Ethan. After that kiss, my name and her voice became a problem, a large one. I looked away first because apparently I could survive public humiliation but not eye contact in an elevator. Sorry. Do not apologize for panicking. That should not have helped. It did, which annoyed me. The elevator chimed. The Royal Wing floor opened in front of us. The hallway was nothing like my wing. Mine had tired carpet and wallpaper that had made peace with disappointment. The Royal Wing had marble floors, dark wood walls, quiet lighting, and a long private corridor that smelled like flowers, money, and someone else's inheritance. At the far end, a brass plate beside wide double doors read 1208. Royal Wing, 1208. The room Celeste meant to enter last night. The room that might have kept her away from my bed, my rose petals, Bianca's camera, Chloe's jealousy, Adrian's public humiliation, and one kiss traveling through the internet faster than my self-respect could run. Maybe. With my luck, disaster would have crawled out of the minibar. Celeste stopped at the door. For the first time since the lobby, she hesitated. Small, almost invisible. But I was getting good at noticing Celeste Whitmore's almost invisible disasters. Natalie noticed too. I'll stay outside, Natalie said. You need 3 minutes away from cameras. You do not need privacy long enough to make more decisions that become my problem. I looked at her. Is that how friendship sounds at this income level? No. Fair. Celeste opened the door. The room inside was not a room. It was a quiet crime against normal hotel pricing. A wide living area faced floor-to-ceiling windows. The ocean stretched black and silver beyond the glass. A pale sofa curved around a low table with water, fruit, and flowers that looked too expensive to die naturally. No rose petals, no towel swans, no chocolate sign lying about forever, just space. Expensive, controlled space. I stepped in slowly. So this is the room you were supposed to enter. Yes, my room had swans made of towels. Did you enjoy them? One of them judged me. Her mouth almost moved. Then she looked toward the bedroom doors and the almost smile vanished. The room quieted. No phones, no lobby whispers, no Adrian performing injury, no Chloe saying my name like she still owned the reaction. Just Celeste and me inside the room she had missed by one wrong hallway, one matching room number, and one very unhelpful suitcase strap. She crossed to the window. I should have come here, she said. I did not answer. I should have called Natalie. I should have left the restaurant when I saw him. I should not have gotten drunk enough to walk into the wrong wing. Her voice stayed even. That made it worse. I had heard Celeste cold, angry, controlled. This was the sound of a woman listing mistakes before anyone else could weaponize them. I shoved my hands into my pockets. Yeah, and I should have checked whether my door closed instead of trusting discount luggage with national security. She turned. A breath of laughter escaped before she could stop it. I felt embarrassingly proud. Celeste looked down at her hand. The kiss was not for him. My brain stopped. No soft let-in, just the sentence landing in the room. I know. Do you? I wanted to say yes confidently, like a man with a functioning spine and no recent footage of himself kissing a billionaire under public pressure. Instead, I said, I am trying to know. Unfortunately honest. Celeste crossed her arms, softer this time. I asked you without asking. You waited. That is not the same as asking, no, but it was not the same as ordering. Her eyes stayed on mine. That matters to you. After today? Yeah, a lot, Adrian demanded. Bianca framed. Chloe guided knives with soft words. Mason tried to explain me like a bad employee file. Celeste waited. That tiny difference hit harder than the kiss. Rude, honestly. The kiss had worked very hard. Celeste looked away first. I should not have put you in that position. My mouth opened. Closed. Celeste Whitmore, apologizing twice in one day felt like a sign the resort might collapse into the ocean. For the record, I said, if I hated it, my face made several confusing choices. Her eyes came back to me. Then she smiled. Small, tired, real. It hit me directly in the chest. Unfair. Someone should regulate that. Her phone buzzed on the table. Naturally. No emotion in my life lasted longer than room service. Celeste picked it up. Her face hardened. She turned the screen toward me. The kiss clip was paused on the worst possible frame. Worst, because it looked real. Her hand on my lapel. My face lowered toward hers. Adrian visible behind her, furious. Chloe near the side corridor, staring like someone had taken back a gift she threw away. Caption, Celeste Whitmore kisses Ethan Carter after cheating ex demands proof. Another account reposted with a nastier caption. Heartbroken ex-boyfriend becomes billionaire CEO's newest weapon. I stared at that one longer. Celeste lowered the phone. Do not what? Believe the worst caption because it sounds familiar. That landed where Chloe's post left a bruise. I breathed out. Your room is very good at making people say uncomfortable things. It is a suite. Of course it is. A knock came at the door. Sharp. Natalie entered with her tablet and my future headache. We need to move Ethan's belongings. My belongings? Your luggage is still in Honeymoon Wing 1208. I knew that, but hearing it made my stomach drop. My suitcase, clothes, charger, sad little toiletries bag, the ring box, the ring I bought for Chloe hidden in the inside pocket like a tiny black coffin for my old future. Celeste noticed my face change. Natalie noticed too. What is in the luggage? I did not answer fast enough. Celeste did. The ring. Natalie closed her eyes for half a second. Of course. In my defense, I said, I did not plan for a fake engagement audit. Bianca has already restarted the ring thread. Natalie showed us a post, no photo. Just Bianca's words, clean and poison sweet. Interesting that everyone is focused on the kiss, but no one has seen the ring. Comments moved fast. Where is the ring? Did he still have the one for Chloe? Ask Chloe. Fake engagement confirmed. My mouth went dry. Natalie looked at me. We move the luggage now before someone gets near that room. Who would get near my room? My phone buzzed. Message request. From Chloe. I know you still have it. The room went still. Celeste saw it. Of course she did. She knows where the room is? Celeste asked. She had the itinerary. The line sat between us. Chloe had the itinerary because I gave it to her when I thought Hawaii was our future. She sent it to Mason. Mason copied the trip and upgraded every piece of it. Now that same itinerary could lead Chloe to the room where my old proposal ring sat in the suitcase. And Chloe knew me well enough to know I would not throw it away in one night. She knew I kept proof of pain longer than I should. Romance had become a security breach. Natalie turned toward the door. Security! Honeymoon wing 1208, now! No staff entry except my authorization. No guests near the door. A guard nodded and left fast. Natalie looked at me. We are going with you. We? You have the key. Miss Whitmore has the scandal. I have the migraine. Everyone contributes. I almost smiled. Almost. The elevator down felt too short. At the lower floor, the doors opened to familiar carpet, familiar wallpaper, and air that smelled like ocean-scented cleaning spray and poor decisions. Home, technically. Honeymoon wing 1208 waited at the end of the hall. 2 security guards already stood near the door. Chloe stood 6 feet away, blocked from coming closer. From the tight look on the guard's face, she had beaten them there by seconds. Of course she had. Mason was behind her. Bianca stood farther down the hall with one friend, pretending to admire a framed resort photo of a waterfall. Bianca held her phone low, not openly recording. Worse, politely, her friend held another phone near her purse, half hidden. Natalie went straight toward Chloe. This is a guest hallway, Chloe said. So is the lobby. You were still asked to stop damaging people there. Chloe ignored her and looked at me. Ethan. Almost private. Nothing was private now. I just want to talk. You keep saying that before something gets worse. Because you will not listen. No, because I finally am. That stopped her. Mason shifted behind her, tired in the way a man gets when the woman he stole keeps staring at the man she left. Chloe's hand tightened around her phone. Please do not let her use that ring. Celeste's face cooled. Her. Not Celeste, not Miss Whitmore. Chloe was not protecting me from the ring, she was protecting her last claim on it. I tapped my keycard. Green light. Click. The suite looked exactly as awful as I remembered. Rose petals. Towel swans. Champagne bucket. Ocean view still romantic and rude. The chocolate sign was gone because I had eaten it. Probably the only mature choice I made in this room. Celeste stepped in behind me. Her eyes moved over the bed, the petals, the suitcase strapped near the door. The enemy. Discount luggage. I pointed at it. That is the villain, by the way. I believe you, she said seriously. That almost broke me. Natalie kept the door partly open because security stood outside and Bianca existed. I went to the suitcase near the closet. Celeste stayed near the door, giving me space. That made it worse. If she ordered me around, I could be annoyed. If she grabbed the suitcase, I could be defensive. Instead, she respected the wound like it was real. Rude. I unzipped the suitcase. Clothes shifted. A rolled shirt. Charger. Beach shoes packed with a proposal. Then the inner pocket. My fingers stopped. I pulled out the small black velvet box, cheaper than anything in Celeste's actual room. Still the most expensive thing I had ever bought. The hallway quieted. Bianca's phone lifted by 1 inch. Natalie said, "Lower it." Bianca smiled. "I am not filming. Then you can lower it easily." Bianca lowered it halfway. Her friend did not lower hers. I stared at the box. For a second, I saw Chloe outside my apartment. No luggage. Soft voice. Mason's hand on her waist. Then Celeste in the lobby. "Sit down, Ethan." I closed my hand around the box. Chloe whispered, "You kept it." I walked toward the doorway, just close enough for her to see. Yes, her eyes filled. Why? That question almost made me laugh because she truly thought the answer still belonged to her. I do not know, I said. Maybe throwing it away felt like admitting the whole thing was worthless. Maybe I needed proof that I meant it. Maybe I was an idiot with luggage space. You were not an idiot. You left me with 2 tickets, no explanation worth respecting, and my bully laughing at the ring. Do not edit yesterday because today is uncomfortable. She flinched. Useful. Chloe looked at Celeste. You cannot give that to her. The hall went silent. Finally, the truth without perfume. Cannot. Like she still had a vote. I looked at the box. I was not planning to. Chloe blinked. Bianca's phone twitched. Celeste's eyes moved to me. I turned toward Celeste and held out the box. Not offering, showing. This is not yours. Celeste looked at the box, then at me. I know. No hesitation. No wounded pride. She stepped closer and lowered my hand with 2 fingers against my wrist. I would never wear another woman's ring, and I would not ask you to turn the worst part of yesterday into proof for me. The hallway reacted, whispers, a phone lowering, Mason staring at Chloe, Bianca's smile thinning because the scene refused to become the one she wanted. My throat tightened. Chloe looked like she had been slapped, not because Celeste insulted her, because Celeste understood the ring better than she did. For years Chloe knew my soft places and used that knowledge like ownership. Celeste had known me for one day and treated the wound like it belonged to me. Not her. Not Chloe. Me. Bianca recovered first. Very noble, she said. But it still does not explain why he is holding another woman's ring while calling himself your fiancé. Celeste turned her head. He is not holding another woman's ring. He is holding his past. For 1 second, Bianca had no comeback. Then her friend's phone buzzed. Natalie's tablet chimed. My stomach dropped. Natalie looked down and went still. What? I asked. She turned the tablet. A new photo was already online. Me in the doorway of Honeymoon Wing 1208, black velvet box in my hand, Celeste beside me. Chloe blurred behind the guard. Caption, Ethan Carter still carrying the ring he bought for his ex? Under it, comments were multiplying. He kissed Celeste but kept Chloe's ring? Fake fiancé exposed. Poor Chloe. Celeste uses broken men? My chest went cold. Bianca lowered her phone, eyebrows lifted in perfect innocence. I did not post that. Natalie's eyes moved to Bianca's friend. The friend tucked her phone into her purse too late. Celeste's face sharpened. Chloe looked at the post, then me. For the first time she looked truly afraid of what she had helped create. My hand closed around the ring box until the edges pressed into my palm. Celeste stepped beside me. Not in front! Beside! Natalie answered a call, listened for 3 seconds, then looked at us. Langford wants both of you downstairs, now. Bianca's smile returned. Small, satisfied. I looked at the ring box in my hand. The old future, the new lie, every person who wanted to define both. Then I slipped the box into my jacket pocket. Natalie watched me. Do you want me to handle it? I looked toward the elevator. No! My voice came out steadier than I felt. I am tired of other people explaining what my pain means. Celeste looked at me. Something in her face changed. Natalie stepped aside. The elevator doors opened at the end of the hall. And this time, I walked toward them with the ring still in my pocket and the truth finally catching up behind me. I thought Langford was waiting downstairs to judge me. Celeste thought so too. Then the conference lounge door opened, and Celeste Whitmore froze so hard I almost walked into her back. Grandfather? Her voice did something I had never heard before. It went small, not weak, shocked. For half a second, the CEO disappeared and someone much more human stepped into her place. That was my first warning. The second was Natalie. Natalie Vale, woman who treated disasters like calendar reminders, went completely still. The third was Langford. Langford stood straighter, like his spine had received instructions from a higher authority. Bianca's smile faded by 1 careful inch. Mason's face went blank. Chloe stopped looking at me and looked toward the old man standing beside the long table. So naturally, I realized the man Celeste had just called grandfather was probably the most dangerous person in the building. Natalie had moved everyone involved into one closed lounge under security watch. Not because Bianca, Chloe, or Mason deserved privacy, because Chairman Whitmore wanted every liar in the same room. Later, I found out the kiss clip and ring photo had reached the Whitmore family office before we even left the hallway. At that moment, all I knew was that Celeste looked surprised enough to forget she owned most of the oxygen in the room. Her grandfather was lean, silver-haired, dressed in a dark suit with no tie, one hand resting on a polished cane. He clearly did not need but probably enjoyed making people respect. His eyes were quiet, sharp. The kind that made rich people stop lying halfway through a sentence because survival instincts finally clocked in. The moment he saw Celeste, his face changed. The room had been holding its breath around him. He looked at her like every other person had become furniture. My princess, he said. Celeste closed her eyes, her ears turned pink. Actual pink. I had seen Celeste stare down Bianca, Adrian, Langford, and an entire lobby full of phones without blinking. One old man calling her princess made her look like she wanted to vanish into the nearest decorative plant. Grandfather, she said. Not here. Why not here? Did you stop being my princess because investors are watching? Langford looked down at the table. Natalie examined her tablet like it had become sacred scripture. I stared straight ahead because laughing felt like a fast way to die. Celeste kept her face composed. From the side, she looked like she was negotiating with God for a trapdoor. I run a global company, she said quietly. Yes, very proud. Still my princess. I looked at the ceiling. No help there. He stepped toward her. Security did not move. Nobody did. He touched the side of Celeste's face with 2 fingers, gentle and slow. Did you eat? Celeste went redder. Grandfather! That is not an answer. I ate. He turned toward Natalie. Natalie did not pretend. 3 bites of fish and half a glass of water. Traitor. Useful traitor. Celeste looked at Natalie like she would remember this forever. Chairman Whitmore sighed. My princess fights scandals, investors, useless men, and still refuses dinner. I was busy. You were upset. The room quieted in a different way. Family quiet, the kind where everyone knows they are watching something they were not supposed to see. Celeste looked away first. His expression softened for one breath. Then his eyes moved past her. To me. Softness vanished. Final boss music. He looked me up and down. Black suit, tired face, ring box hidden inside my jacket, public kiss still fresh enough that my mouth probably had legal exposure. You. I pointed at myself. Me? Celeste closed her eyes again. Ethan. Her grandfather's eyebrows lifted. He talks. Too much, Natalie said under her breath. I looked at her, noted, emotionally. The old man stepped closer. You are Ethan Carter. Yes, sir. The man from the honeymoon suite. Unfortunate, but accurate. The man who kissed my princess. My mouth opened before survival arrived. Technically, she kissed me. The room died. Not, literally. Unfortunately, I remained alive enough to see every reaction. Natalie shut her eyes. Langford looked away. Mason's mouth parted. Bianca's smile returned by a fraction. Chloe looked like the sentence punched her directly in the chest. Celeste turned toward me slowly. Ethan, she said, please, stop helping. Her grandfather stared. For 1 second, I thought he might have me removed from Hawaii. Then one corner of his mouth moved. Almost a smile. He is honest when terrified? I am not terrified. Celeste looked at me. I corrected. I am managing terror with excellent tailoring. This time, her grandfather made a sound. Almost a laugh. Then it disappeared. Name, Ethan Carter. Family? Normal, not rich. Probably confused by tonight if they have found the internet. Work? I hesitated. Many ways to answer badly. Unemployed sounded pathetic. Between jobs sounded like I had read one career article and called it personality. Broke was honest but not impressive. So I chose what the day had taught me. Currently, standing beside your granddaughter and trying not to make her life worse? Celeste's eyes moved to me. Chairman Whitmore's gaze sharpened. That is not a profession. No, sir. But it has been more demanding than any job interview I have ever had. Natalie made a tiny sound. Could have been pain, could have been approval. With Natalie, those were cousins. The old man pointed at the long table. Sit. I sat immediately. Celeste sat beside me, which everyone noticed. Chloe's eyes went to the space between our chairs. Mason watched Chloe, noticing. Bianca quietly adjusted her phone on the table. Chairman Whitmore's eyes dropped to Celeste's hand resting near mine. She pulled it back half an inch. Too late, he saw. My princess! Grandfather, please, do you like this boy? The room forgot how to move. I forgot how to sit. Celeste stared at him. That is not the issue. It is my issue. Grandfather, you kissed him in a lobby. That was complicated. He glanced at me. Everything about him looks complicated. Fair, I said. Celeste looked at me. I raised both hands. I know. Stop helping. His cane tapped once against the floor. Enough. Funny grandfather vanished. Chairman Whitmore arrived. He looked at Langford. You called them down? Langford's voice stayed smooth but more careful now. The ring photo changed the situation. Did it? Langford paused. The pause said yes and also wished yes did not sound stupid out loud. Bianca used the opening. Chairman Whitmore, no one wants to hurt Celeste. Everyone is only trying to understand whether Ethan is truly standing beside her or still emotionally tied to Chloe. Concern placed on the table like poisoned dessert. Chairman Whitmore turned toward her. You are Miss Ashford. Bianca smiled. Yes, Bianca Ashford. The girl who took the first photo, her smile held. I took a picture. Other people spread rumors. He stared for 2 quiet seconds. You smile like you sell poison and gift wrap. The room went dead quiet. I looked down at the table because if I looked at Bianca, I was going to smile and I had survived too much to die from joy. Bianca's face stayed perfect. Her eyes flashed once. Fast. Ugly. Then the pretty concern returned. I understand you are protective of Celeste. Yes, he said. No shame, no apology. Yes. He turned to Chloe. And you. Chloe straightened as if kindness might save her. Bad instinct. Kindness had not been invited. I only wanted to help Ethan. Mason's jaw tightened. Even he was tired of that sentence. Chairman Whitmore looked at her phone on the table. You helped by giving his name to the woman hunting him? I was scared. You helped by posting he was vulnerable? I asked people not to attack him? You helped by following him to his room and crying near a ring you abandoned? No sound came out of Chloe's mouth. The old man leaned both hands on the cane. You threw him away yesterday. Today another woman stood beside him, and suddenly you remembered he had value. Chloe flinched for real. Mason looked down. He was watching the woman he chose get described too accurately by a man who met her 5 minutes ago. Chairman Whitmore looked at Mason. And you are the upgrade? Mason stiffened. Sir, Close it. The silence suits you better. I coughed into my hand. That line almost fixed my childhood. Natalie did not look at me, but I felt her disapproval from across the table like air conditioning. Chairman Whitmore's eyes dropped to Mason's badge. Whitmore Global. Yes, Chairman, you brought an unauthorized guest into my granddaughter's private dinner. I made an error in judgment. You laughed at Mr. Carter's proposal yesterday. Mason looked at me, then away. It was a difficult situation. Chairman Whitmore looked bored. Give Ms. Vale your badge. Mason froze. Everyone felt the consequence arrive. Visible, simple, beautiful. Mason slowly unclipped the badge. Yesterday, it had been a crown. Tonight, he placed it on the table like borrowed status being returned. The plastic hit wood with a small flat sound. No explosion, no speech. Perfect. Natalie picked up the badge. Access remains paused. Chloe stared at it. Then at Mason. For the first time, she looked at the man she chose without the job. Watch, bonus, company name, or shiny future. He waved in my face. He looked smaller. Not ruined, just smaller. I enjoyed that more than a healthy man should. Bianca recovered first. With respect, Chairman, none of this answers the ring. Last knife. The box inside my jacket felt heavier. Chairman Whitmore looked at me. Is it true? I did not pretend not to understand. Yes. The room shifted. Chloe's eyes lifted. Bianca's smile sharpened. Langford watched me like my answer might decide tomorrow's headlines. You still carry the ring you bought for this woman? Chairman Whitmore said. Yes. After kissing my granddaughter. My throat tightened. Yes. Celeste turned toward me, not hurt, listening, somehow harder. I reached into my jacket and pulled out the black velvet box. This time, I did not open it. Everyone had already seen enough of my grief sparkling under bad lighting. I set it on the table in front of me. The box looked small on the polished wood, too small to have caused this much damage. Chloe stared at it like it had come home to her. That made the answer easier. This ring was not proof that Chloe loved me, I said. My voice was not loud. It did not need to be. It was proof that I was willing to believe she did. Chloe's face collapsed by 1 careful inch. I looked at her. I bought that ring for the woman I thought Chloe was. Her eyes filled again. This time, I did not look away. Not the woman standing here tonight. The words landed clean. No shouting. No thrown ring. Just the truth finally said where she could not soften it before it reached the room. Ethan, Chloe whispered. No, 1 word. It felt better than expected. Terrifying too, but better. You do not get to keep the version of me who believed in you and use him whenever you need to look kind. Mason looked at Chloe. Final crack. Because Mason finally saw what I had been too heartbroken to admit. Chloe did not want me fully or honestly. She wanted access to the part of me that loved her completely. She wanted to leave me and still own the softest room in my chest. That room was closing. Bianca turned to Celeste. Moving. But if he is your fiancé, where is your ring? Celeste reached across the table, picked up the velvet box and placed it back in front of me. Not near herself, in front of me. This ring belongs to Ethan's past, she said. I do not need another woman's ring to prove he belongs beside me. The room quieted. Chloe flinched. Bianca's expression sharpened. Langford looked from the box to Celeste. Celeste continued, softer but steady. And I will not ask him to turn a wound into jewelry for my reputation. That changed the room slowly. People looked at Chloe, then Bianca, then the ring, then Celeste. The story changed again. The ring was not proof I belonged to Chloe. It was proof Chloe lost the man who once believed in her. And Celeste refusing it made Bianca's accusation weaker. Because if Celeste were using me, that ring would have been convenient. A prop, a fake symbol, a headline. She refused it in front of everyone who mattered. My throat tightened. Unreliable organ. Chairman Whitmore looked at me. You are broke? Terrible transition. Yes, you are not from her world. Very obviously, sir. You talk too much when afraid. Also yes, you kept a ring for a woman who did not deserve it. I looked at the box. Yes, you kissed my princess in a lobby full of phones. Again, technically. Celeste said, Ethan. I stopped. Growth. Chairman Whitmore looked between us. Celeste's face had gone pink again. Grandfather pink, princess pink. If I survived this night, I was going to remember that color forever and never mention it because I enjoyed having limbs. I still do not like him, Chairman Whitmore said. Grandfather. He talks too much. He is broke. His timing is terrible. He carries old pain in his jacket like luggage, and he thinks technicalities will save him from me. I opened my mouth. Celeste looked at me. I closed it. Small growth, but important. Chairman Whitmore's mouth twitched. But. The room waited. He looked at Celeste's face, at the blush she wanted murdered before sunrise. But my princess does. Celeste went still. The pink got worse. Grandfather. What? Am I wrong? For once, Celeste Whitmore had no comeback. Nothing. No CEO glare. No sharp correction. She looked away. Answer enough. My brain broke quietly. Chloe saw it too. Her face changed. Not jealousy now. Loss. Because this was not a kiss under pressure. This was Celeste standing beside me while her grandfather publicly called out what she would not say, and she did not deny it. Mason saw Chloe's face. That was his final punishment. Not the badge. That look. He had stolen my girlfriend to feel like a winner, and now he watched her grieve the man she threw away. Mason, Chloe whispered. He pushed his chair back slightly. She did not look at him. He swallowed. I filed the sound carefully in the petty department. Chairman Whitmore turned to Bianca. As for you, Miss Ashford? Bianca straightened. Her smile tried to return. It arrived late. Bad timing. You are not invited to any Whitmore family event again. Bianca's face went still. Not because family events were the biggest punishment in the world. Because rooms like hers ran on access. Invitations. Whispers. Private circles. The same soft network she used as weapons. He had just taken one away in front of people who would remember. Bianca opened her mouth. Chairman, I think? I did not ask. She closed her mouth. Elegant social murder with table manners. Natalie looked down at her tablet. I was pretty sure she enjoyed that one, hard to tell. Her face had two settings, emergency and invoice. Chairman Whitmore looked at Chloe. You should leave him alone. Chloe's tears started again. I loved him. That sentence hit strangely. Not because I fully believed it, because some version of it had probably been true once. Chloe was not a cartoon villain. She wanted softness when it was convenient and status when softness cost too much. Maybe she loved me. Maybe she loved how I loved her. Tonight, the difference finally mattered. Then you should have protected him before another woman had to, Chairman Whitmore said. Chloe looked at me. No clean line ready, no soft concern, just tears and panic from a girl losing the right to be tragic. Can we talk after this? She whispered. The last door. Small, soft, familiar. For a second, old Ethan stood up inside me. The one who wanted closure. Kindness. Proof that 3 years meant something. Then I felt the ring box under my hand. No! Her face broke. I kept going because stopping would be crueler. I am not your safe place anymore. The line hit hard because of the old photo. My safe place. For years, I liked being that for her. Tonight, saying no felt like cutting off a hand and realizing it had been holding a knife pointed at me. Chloe covered her mouth. Mason stood, not to defend her, not to fight me. He just had nowhere comfortable to sit. Natalie nodded toward security. The guard stepped closer. Mason looked at Chloe. Come on. She still looked at me. Everybody noticed. That was his ending for the night. Quiet, ugly. The woman he chose refusing to look at him while being removed from the room. He left first. Chloe followed. At the doorway, she stopped. For 1 second, I thought she would say my name again. She did not. Good. Some names needed rest. Security guided them out. Bianca remained seated, face perfect again, but too late. Perfect did not work after everyone had seen the crack. Langford finally spoke. Chairman Whitmore, this does not erase the board question. No, Chairman Whitmore said, but it answers the character question. Langford paused. He looked at me. Then Celeste. Then the ring box. The board will still ask why he is involved. Celeste lifted her chin. Because I involved him. Her grandfather gave her a look. She did not shrink. This was Celeste returning to herself. But he stayed, she said. He could have walked away when this became ugly. He did not. He could have exposed me when I called him my fiancé without asking. He did not. He could have used that ring to hurt Chloe, or me, or himself. He did not. She looked at me once, long enough to ruin my breathing. He has bad timing. Very bad, Natalie said. Terrible, Chairman Whitmore added. I spread one hand. Love the support. Celeste's mouth twitched. But he is not using me. The room quieted. Langford studied her. And are you using him? The clean question, the one Bianca had been trying to poison all night. Celeste did not answer immediately. Good, too fast would have sounded polished. She looked at the ring box, then at me, then at her grandfather. I was, she said. Honesty was rude, necessary apparently. At first, she said, honesty was rude. I used the story because it was the only thing that stopped Bianca's first rumor from destroying both of us. I told myself it was strategy, damage control. A temporary roll. My hand closed around the edge of the table. Then her voice softened by 1 degree. Then he kept choosing to stand beside me when leaving would have been easier. That did not feel like damage control. It felt worse. Honest. I looked down because eye contact had become financially irresponsible. Chairman Whitmore watched us both. His expression stayed hard but less hostile. That somehow made him scarier. He tapped the cane once. Then this is not finished here. Bad sentence. Very bad sentence. Celeste looked at him. Grandfather. If this man is going to stand beside my granddaughter, I will not judge him from gossip videos and resort hallways. He turned to me. You will come to New York. My blood left my body, possibly through my shoes. New York? Yes, I have a return flight. You can change it. With what money? The old man stared. I regretted speaking. Celeste said quietly, Grandfather. Embarrassed. Protective. Princess and CEO at the same time. You cannot summon people like furniture, she said. He is not furniture. That is not the point. He kissed my princess. He became the point. Celeste covered part of her face with one hand. The blush still showed. It failed as camouflage. Chairman Whitmore looked extremely satisfied. I was going to die in New York. Not from business, from family embarrassment. He looked at me. If you are greedy, New York will show it. If you are weak, New York will show it. Comforting. Very comforting. And if you are worth the way my princess looked at you tonight, New York will show that too. The room went still. Celeste lowered her hand. She stared at her grandfather like she did not know whether to argue or hide under the table. Maybe both. I looked at her. She did not look away fast enough. Dangerous. Very dangerous. Natalie's tablet buzzed. Langford's phone followed. Apparently, emotional moments had notifications. Natalie checked the screen. What now? I asked. My voice sounded tired enough to qualify for government assistance. She turned the tablet. Whitmore board requests morning call regarding Celeste Whitmore and Ethan Carter. My name again. My full name had become a disease that spread through expensive devices. Langford looked at Chairman Whitmore. The board moved quickly. Good. Good? Men with canes and terrifying granddaughters probably enjoyed board pressure for breakfast. Chairman Whitmore looked at me again. I still do not like you. Yes, sir. But I will examine you properly. That sounds medical. Ethan, Celeste said. Sorry. The old man's mouth twitched. New York. No resort cameras, no gossip girls, no ex-girlfriend crying near doorways, just you, my family, and people who will not be impressed by a suit Ms. Vale clearly arranged for you. I looked down. It is a very good suit. It is doing most of the work, harsh but fair. Celeste laughed, quiet, one breath, gone almost immediately, but the room heard it, her grandfather heard it. He looked at her like that tiny laugh answered something more important than Langford's investor concern, costs. Then he turned away. Ms. Vale, place a hold on his flight. Natalie did not hesitate. Understood. I looked at her. You too, welcome to escalation. Bianca stood. I assume I am excused. Chairman Whitmore did not look at her. You were excused when you lifted the first phone. No comeback arrived. For once, the woman with perfect timing missed her entrance. She walked out with her friend behind her, straighter than Mason, slower than Chloe, not winning. Langford remained seated for one more moment. Tomorrow will be complicated, he told Celeste. Tonight already was. He almost smiled. Fair. Then he left too. The room emptied until only Celeste, Chairman Whitmore, Natalie and I remained. The ring box sat in front of me. I picked it up, not because Chloe owned it, not because Celeste needed it, because it was mine. My mistake. My grief. My proof. Someday, when I was ready, maybe my refund. I put it back in my jacket. Celeste watched with no judgment and no claim. Her grandfather watched her watch me. Then he sighed like the universe had disappointed him personally. My princess has terrible taste in men. Grandfather. He looked toward the door where Adrian had been removed earlier, then the door where Mason and Chloe had gone, then at me, improving slightly. I pointed at myself. Was that about me? Do not make me regret it. Yes, sir. Celeste looked down, but I caught the smile before she killed it. Small, embarrassed, real. That smile was more dangerous than the board. Probably, actually no. The board sounded terrible. Natalie's phone buzzed again. She checked it, then looked at me. Your return flight has been flagged for review. My what? Celeste turned to her grandfather. You already arranged that? He looked offended. I placed a hold. I am old, not slow. I stared at him. Then Celeste. Then Natalie, who was typing like my life had been added to an itinerary without my consent. Again, theme of the trip. Celeste stepped closer to me. She did not take my hand. She only stood beside me. After everything tonight, beside me felt louder than holding hands. You do not have to come, she said. The door. Open again. No order, no fake engagement script, just a choice. Behind her, Chairman Whitmore watched like he expected me to disappoint him and was ready to enjoy it. Natalie watched like she expected paperwork either way. My phone buzzed. Probably comments, screenshots, strangers deciding if I was a broke rebound, fake fiancé, or romantic idiot with decent tailoring. For once, I did not check. I looked at Celeste, the woman who accidentally walked into my ruined honeymoon, the woman who called me no one, then spent the day proving she heard when it hurt. The woman whose grandfather called her princess in front of investors and somehow made her look more powerful, not less. I looked at the old man, then Natalie, then the closed door where Chloe, Mason, Bianca, and the first version of my old life had finally gone quiet. I took a breath. I have one condition. Chairman Whitmore's eyes narrowed. Celeste looked surprised. Natalie stopped typing. Good, tiny dramatic moment. I was learning from bad influences. Nobody calls me the mystery fiancé in New York. The room stayed silent for half a second. Then Celeste laughed again. Not full, not public, enough. Chairman Whitmore looked at her, then at me. Then he sighed. We will see. Terrible answer. Absolutely terrible. And somehow, that was how my fake engagement survived Hawaii. Not because the lie became perfect, not because the ring disappeared, not because Chloe apologized properly, Mason grew a spine, Bianca lost her phone, or Adrian learned shame. It survived because somewhere between the wrong room, the wrong woman, the wrong ring, and the wrong people trying to define me, I stopped letting them decide what my pain meant. Then Chairman Whitmore turned toward the door. Pack properly, Mr. Carter. My princess does not travel with men who look like luggage. Abandon them. Celeste whispered. Grandfather. I looked down at my borrowed suit, then at the woman standing beside me, then at the old man waiting to drag me into New York like a courtroom with better food. And that was how my fake engagement stopped being a Hawaii scandal and became an invitation to survive the most dangerous man in Celeste Whitmore's family.